Yo, what's going on, everybody? Crypto got some shit on his
Hey, what's
mind.
going on, everybody?
What's going on? Hey, it feels like a little deja vu when we get back.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics, officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Fins Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
Yo, you got El Capitan breaking down the film coming at you late night. You got Color and Ali bringing you top of the tailgate. You got myself, Lewis, and Crypto bringing you the Smoke Lounge and Drive Time. You got KP at Saturday mornings bringing you some fantasy football talk. He will be back. He's not coming this weekend, but he will be back on the 2nd. You got Tonk TMI Tuesdays. And don't forget, me and Crypto this Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the morning, Thursday at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're going live for our very first live episode of Insomnia Thanksgiving Special. And with that being said, hold on. Let's talk about Dubby. Before we do that, let's talk about Dubby Energy Drink, because the next day, that's what I'm going to need, because we're going to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning and we'll wake up at 10. I'm definitely going to need some Dubby Energy Drink. And
Yeah.
And don't forget my man, Chef Jew. The man is a real chef, cooks ingredients from scratch, and hit him up at 786-804-8096 at 786-804-8096 if you're in the Tri-County area, Miami, Broward, West Palm Beach. This man has a big range. He has a big heart, and he is a great chef. Good fan of the program. You mentioned TFTG, you get 10% off your order. And with that being said, yo, Crypto, what you got for us, man?
Hey, what's going on, Shake Money?
Not much. I'll
What
be
a,
in the back if
what
you
a
need
day,
me.
what a weekend.
Hell yeah. So, what do you were telling me how everything it's like you feel like deja vu?
Yeah, today's topic is going to be about a little bit of deja vu. And the deja vu doesn't speak of what happened 30 years ago. It speaks about what happened roughly 360 days ago, this week, last year. But it's going to be a nice little discussion. Of course, it's not that I believe it. It's just a feeling of it. That's all. It's not like I'm saying it is deja vu. It's more so the feeling of deja vu.
That's why I put on
Which
the
is a big
program. It feels
difference.
like deja
Right.
vu.
Exactly. It feels like deja vu. It's not deja vu yet because the season had played out, but it just feels like it.
What's
Got
up,
the
John
feeling.
Federline? Flavor J,
Flavor
Aquavision.
J, Aquavision. Thanks a lot. John, Darth. Dark Sith, Lord 85.
Yeah,
Welcome,
Chill, what's going
Kevin
on, my
Lee.
brother?
Yeah, Kevin
No,
Lee
he's
is a regular.
according to McDaniel, he's day by day, so he doesn't need surgery. That's what McDaniel said. So that's a good news. He doesn't need surgery.
No surgery.
He's day
Is
by
day to day. Possibly worst case scenario, he'll be back by Christmas Day, Christmas Eve. That's worst case scenario.
But he said he's not ruling. He's not
best
ruling
case
him
scenario,
out.
he'll play Friday. I'm just
he's
giving
not ruling
the
him out.
extremes of both scenarios.
Yeah, worst case scenario, he'll be
if
back
something
by
turns
Christmas.
worse, yeah. So Mansa, welcome.
Cat for life.
It's only deja vu. Sky was starting. That's a good point. But that's why I said It's pushed up a little bit, Mansa, because the Jet game, Skylar will be have to start, and then it will be truly deja vu, meaning actually deja vu. If Skylar starts against the Jets, so yeah, I'm gonna give I'm gonna give 3 or 4 games as an indicator why I think we may be feeling like a little deja vu. Now, who else is in there? Cap for Life, welcome. Dolphinier, we appreciate it. You a regular. Raphael, I think that was the guy who was on the show, the Raiders guy,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
So welcome back. Welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Hey,
I
by
don't
the way,
know if that.
Kevin Lee, if you really want to spruce up your new place, your new house that you're moving in, I suggest
Mhm.
you put some gator gear. Makes any house look good.
Right. Right. That's cool. 7-3. Somebody mentioned 7-3, and I'm a key in on that. Right. So 7-3. We're 7-3 now.
Okay.
Shout out to Mike McDaniel and his second consecutive 7-3 start. That's key. What I just said there. Second consecutive 7-3. Now here's where I go into the deja vu spiel, right? Because we were coming off a win yesterday against the Raiders, right? So a lot of Dolphin fans are like, "Well, goddamn, we struggling. We can't get the offense together. The offense is trending, inconsistent. I'm not gonna say downward quite, but inconsistent play by the offense compared to what we did in the first 5 games of the season, or 6 games. But the last 3 to 4 games, offense have either gotten shut out in one of the halves, either the first half or the second half, meaning shut out in touchdowns. Sometimes completely shut out, didn't even score a point at all, right?
Mhm.
Yesterday, we were actually shut out offensively in the second half. We only scored 6 points on offense in the second half. Our offense didn't get in the end zone, right?
Lucy.
So, right. Which we still won the game. Thank God for the Jalen Ramsey interception at the end to seal the deal. Let me see. He said last year the Bills had better record this round. Yeah, but this time we playing against ourselves.
Yeah.
The Bills had a better record this time. They were 7-4, I think, or even I don't know when they had they bye, but the Bills had definitely had a better record. That is correct. I think they had already had 7 or 8 wins already. They 2, maybe 1 or 2 wins off. Correct me, man. So if I'm can you double check that for me since you mentioned that? I
What was
think
it?
they had 7 or 8 wins at this time. But the Jets, ironically, was almost close to what they had last year prior to us playing them, right? We played them the last game of the season though. So the Jets were at this time last year, if I recall, because they was on a little bit of a winning streak. I want to say they was 6-4 or 5-4 at this time last year. I don't know when they had their bye week. So they was almost in the same exact place that they are now, right? But they're under 500 this year. Last year, they losing streak started almost at the same time our losing streak started in December. It almost mirrored our losing, mirrored their losing almost simultaneously till it went down to the last week where if they beat us, they kick us out of the playoff and the Patriots clinch. And that being said, this time last year we were 7-3, right? We had just came off a monstrous victory against the Cleveland Browns, right? Everybody remember that game? We won 39-17. Nice win. We played well on both sides of the ball. Offense, defense, special team. We had our complete game. And we were feeling good about ourselves. We was like, man, this team is going, is hitting our stride. That was the 4th game of our 5-game winning streak. This time last year, we're in the midst of the 4th of our 5 games in a row that we won, right? Because the next week after that, we played the Texans, right? Got off to a 30-0 lead. Then they scored 15 in a row to close the game. 30-15. We was on pace to score 60 in that game. Our offensive lineman got hurt. Tua got sacked 5 straight times. McDaniel said, enough of this. I'm taking him out. I want to get my quarterback killed. And then we kind of like salted the way the rest of the game. The difference between last year and this year, even though there's no difference in record, there's a difference in the way we approached football games. We run in it slightly a little bit more. I want to say maybe 6 to 7% more than we did last year, maybe 5%. Don't quote me on that. But after game 10, after we reached 7-3 last year, we were like, we're about to obliterate our next opponent, which was the Texans. I think the Texans were 1-8 at that time. It was terrible. The Texans going into week 11 last year, we were much more up than this year because we're playing the Jets, a better defense than the Texans, right? The Texans were like trash. They was trying to they was in the process of trying to get CJ Stroud locked up, right? Mm-hmm. at this time last year before we played them. The Jets are in a similar situation where they're trying to get their quarterback back. Aaron Rodgers back miraculously, before the end of the season, right? So they got a quarterback that's basically a second stringer and Zach Wilson. We're not going to, even though he's a starter now and he started last year, but we all know technically he's fundamentally a backup quarterback. So we're going into next week saying we're going to trash the Jets. We're going to trash the Jets. We're going to steamroll the Jets. We had the same zeal and confidence about ourselves going into week 11, just like we did when we came to win against the Browns last year, when we had the same confidence and zeal about ourselves going into week 11 last year, because we was playing an opponent in the Texans that was basically dead to rights. Their season was pretty much over. And fundamentally, we think the Jets season is over. It's really no difference as far as our next opponents and what we perceive of them going into that game. You see what I'm saying? So our psyche going into week 11 is damn near identical to our psyche going into week 11 last year. We got the same record, playing against inferior opponents that we think their season is over. Mathematically, you can argue that the Jets season is not quite over, but in the eyes of Dolphins fans, we've already written them off. Right? Am I right, Shake Money? We've basically written them off. So from a psyche and fundamentally, our next opponent is dead. That's what we believe. But we know professionals on the football field, they're not going to play like that. We know that Mike McDaniel, Vic Fangio, and the boys, they're gonna prepare as if it's, a 1-game scenario, a playoff game. It's a division opponent. You can't overlook the division opponent. Mm-hmm. We play in 4 more days from now, right? And then we kick off at 3:00 in MetLife. And we get to do it all over again. Okay, Mensa said the Bills were 7-3 last year. This time around, Miami Jets, and Minnesota beat them. Yep. And I'm a key in on that, Mansa. Miami, the Jets, and Minnesota beat them.
What week are we in?
We're going into week 11. This is the 10th game, but week 12 because we had a bye. Thursday was to start next week's 12th week.
Yeah. So we had a week bye. We had a bye week in week 11. So this time next year we
playing against the third string quarterback, definitely sweeping them. I get your confidence. You're feeding right into my point of, but I think this is deja vu because Mansa, we felt that same way going into the playing as Texans last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. We're playing against a third string quarterback. Didn't we think that about the Houston Texans quarterback prior to going into play at Houston at home, right? Mm-hmm. So that plays right into my whole theme there, Mensa. Mm-hmm. That we're playing against a third string quarterback. We're definitely sweeping the boys. And
Well,
had we played the Texans twice, you would have literally made that same statement last year if the Texans was on our schedule twice. You see what I'm saying?
and you
The
know what?
psyche of our team is almost identical going into week 12 this year than it was last year. But go ahead. What was your question?
No, I remember actually what this reminds me of. Even though San Francisco is a lot better team than the Jets
Mm-hmm.
are,
Right.
but this kind of reminds me of the San Francisco game for two reasons. Number one, everybody was downplaying Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that part of it. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
they were downplaying Jimmy Garoppolo, and if he got hurt, uh, we're gonna play Mr. Irrelevant. Everybody was downplaying Mr.
Mr.
Irrelevant,
Irrelevant.
and
Yep.
and
Brock
and the
Purdy.
other
He
connection
literally
was
was a third string quarterback. He was
yeah,
actually a third string quarterback.
yeah.
That's
And
good.
here's the other
Manson's bringing
connection.
up some good points. I could actually feed off the quotes that he's saying. He's putting in the chat. We was
And
up
here's the
30
other
to nothing in
connection.
the first half against the Texans. Absolutely. And Manson, you know what? I picked us to score 60 burger in that game. I literally was. Dude. They was like, Crypto, you crazy. I said, yeah, we're going to score 60. We was going to win 63-10. That was my final prediction in that game. When we scored 30 in that first half, I was like, holy shit, I actually might be right in this one. Yeah, we was up 30 to nothing in that game. We was on pace to score 60, but yeah, that was the first and only game I predicted 60
Yeah.
since the Marino era. But go ahead, my bad, Shake.
No problem. You good. And the last connection is between San Francisco and obviously the Jets is you can't overstate the fact that Robert Saleh and Mike McDaniel, just like with you know, has a great relationship with the head coach with both franchises.
Uh-huh. Right.
You can't overlook the fact that not only
Correct.
are the Jets are intimate are familiar with Miami Dolphins because we're in the same division, but you got to remember that these guys were offensive and defensive coordinator on the same team, so
Hang
they
on to
know
that
what
thought,
they're
72
thinking.
undefeated.
Huh?
But go ahead, Shake. No, I'm telling the 72 undefeated. Hold on to the thought because he put a bunch of quotes in there that I was going to comment on. But go ahead.
Yeah. So you can't understate the fact that Robert Saleh and Mike McDaniel know each other intimately. You know what I mean?
Yes, they do.
So.
Quite the relationship the two have.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
prior to the San Fran game. I don't think two will collapse in December. Yes, that's fine. That's why we said this year. We only taking a snapshot, man. So we're not fast forwarding into December yet. We only taking a snapshot this week last year. That's it. That's all we're stopping. We're just basically putting a time machine and pausing this week, this year, and rewinding it back to 365 days ago last year and what the team was like and what we was feeling like as fans. So I agree with you that collapse won't happen this year, but I'm freezing this week in for this year. And what do we feel like now? Because we were feeling exactly the same way, if not better, about last year's team moving forward than we do now, because we was coming off a bigger win in this time last year than we are when we were on Sunday. When we beat the heck out of the Browns, we were really feeling high off a kite because we had won our fourth game in a row. When we just beat the Raiders and played the lackluster the way we did, we don't feel as high as we did last year at this time. I'm just freezing time and seeing what the feeling of deja vu is. That's basically what I'm saying. What's up, Cap?
What's happening, Crypto? I hear
Yeah.
what you're saying about the topic. I would say this, right? Last year we were high because we rattled off the 4-game winning streak, and not necessarily overachieved so much as we were really showing up as a good team, right? Where this year, although we've lost 3 games, 2 of them being to the Super Bowl teams, one being the Bills, who, other than last year, we haven't been able to, get a win against. But
yeah,
this win against the Raiders is lackluster as it was. Not at any point in the game did I think, oh my God, the Dolphins might lose this game. Where in years past, I would think, oh, the Dolphins are going to lose this game, and then they do. At no point, it's kind of like when we were watching the Panthers game. We were down quick to the Panthers a couple of scores. And I was like, yeah, I ain't sweating it. We're going to turn it around and blow them out of the water. And that's exactly what happened.
But see, the thing is, our offense played better, Cap, against the Panthers than we did yesterday.
Sure, I agree.
Had the Raiders went up 14-0, the outcome could have been different because our offense didn't make up for it.
It's kind of why I said a lot of that, what I said during the bye week and before this game, that the only thing that the Dolphins could do to lose this game is if they come out sluggish and the Bears get us into a dogfight and win. And the Bears almost had us in a dogfight. If our defense didn't show up the way it did, we would have lost that game. Let's call it for what it is. But I still think what happened was kind of what I forewarned about, is that it may be a little bit of hangover from them not hitting their groove. So now I guess it's hard to say that, because when the season started, the offense came out super lightning hot. You know what I'm saying? But I don't look at this team and think, now if it collapses like it did last year, then we have to have a real conversation about what the heck's going on.
Right.
With this
That's
team.
why I put a caveat on freezing time right now
with the narrative. With the narrative.
Right.
And we've gotten lucky too. Dolphins fans gotta be honest with themselves. We've gotten rather lucky with quarterbacks and people we're facing. I mean, let's call it what it is. The Raiders had a backup quarterback. You know what I'm saying? The teams we've faced haven't had winning records. Raiders have a backup quarterback. We're going to be seeing the third string quarterback against the Jets. We should win that game. Even if it was Zach Wilson, we should win. But now even more with whatever Boyle, whatever the heck.
Actually, I would say it's more of the Jets have a better chance without Zach Wilson than they do with him.
You could argue that. You could argue that side. You could argue that side, that this guy. Well, also, and take it
because at least we know Zach Wilson. You know what I mean?
And it's a short week, playing on Friday. Got to travel, holidays. Guy we don't know playing quarterback against us for the Jets. It could be something different. Yeah, it could be a game in which we shoot ourselves in the foot just because we weren't prepared for what the Jets were going to do offensively with this different quarterback. And all those other mitigating circumstances.
Right.
But at the same time,
they were talking about offensive efficiency, not just yards. Because see, yards and completion percentages get you what your rating will end up being. Because you can overcome interceptions, right? But have a good rating as long as your yardage total is high and your completion percentage is high. Those are the biggest metrics that make up the quarterback rating. Yardage and completion percentage. If you over 70 plus and you over 300 yards, you will have to throw like 4 or 5 interceptions to bring your rating under 90. That's how much heavily weighted the yardage and completion percentage is. But the points is what matter. Everybody was raving about the 20 points total against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Granted, everybody and their mother was predicting 50 burgers and 70 burgers again.
Not me. I mean, I said 27-13, and Color wisely said 9-22. He was close.
Well, yeah, it was more the Ian Book effect, but the thing was, we didn't get the pick 6 out of the gate like Ian Book. We either know their quarterback performed at the end of the game like Ian Book.
Remember we had the scooped up fumble that we ran back that they didn't let us keep. That could have been that score in the game.
Yeah, forced the fumble, or you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that could have been that one. But you got the whole thing. And I would say this, to go back to the freezing time and deja vu feeling. Remember Tua's numbers against the Browns last year. It was almost identical minus the interception than in last year's game, in yesterday's game. Tua had thrown for 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in that game, right? And over 300 yards. It was literally identical. The only thing was swapped was the turnovers. That was the only difference in Tua's game and in the 10th game last year and the 10th game this year. So
Yeah, and the
it's
Browns
crazy.
had a good defense. You
And
know,
the Browns had the reputation of having a good defense, right? They were,
mhm.
and you want to know what's crazy, Cap and Shake?
What's
We
that?
gave the Browns their 6th loss of the season, just like we pinned the Raiders their 6th loss of the season. Lo
Well,
and
I mean,
behold.
it's the same week, so yeah, that would happen.
Yeah,
But
but
here,
still, they still had the same amount of loss. They could have been 8-2, or they could have been a second. Now, you see what I'm saying? The fact
yeah.
that we got our 7th win at the same time we gave our opponent their 6th loss in back-to-back seasons.
Well, but here's the growth that needs to be measured from last year to this year. If what happens, Max, stop. What happens to the latter part of the remainder of the season? And that's,
Right.
I mean, we've been saying this all year. I mean, if we don't maintain the AFC East and fall to the 7th seed or something like that,
Which
and
could,
don't get
right.
which okay, fine, if break
That's
glass
what
in case
December
of
did
emergency. Yeah,
last
that's
year to us.
exactly what
Yeah.
it did. And if we are one and done out of the playoffs, like
Right.
what was it all for? To be the same? No, it can't be that. It
Right.
has to be more. So I would say even
Right.
beating the Browns was a surprise. Beating
Right.
the Raiders, the only surprise to that was that we didn't beat the hell out of them. There's a difference in tone in which the way we watched the Dolphins last year to this year. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see, when we beat them, we was coming off a big win in Detroit, right? We had came back from 14-0 in that game, just like we did 14-0 against Carolina, right? It was the same scenario,
Same
same
script.
situation.
Same
You see what
script.
I'm saying? We had
Yeah,
beat a
same
team in
script. You
which
can
we
say it.
came back and we did the same thing. We dropped 14-0 to Detroit. We came back, outscored them, in the second half, right? We shut them out in the second half. We
So
shut out the
crypto, are you
Panthers in
saying
the
we're
second
watching
half.
a rerun here? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I titled it. It feels like deja vu because there's so many games last year that mirrored this year, and it's like eerily scary. You know
So
what I'm saying?
who did we play in week 11 last year?
I'm gonna tell you, we played week 11. We played the Texans, and we have the same feeling of destroying the Texans last year. Remember, they were
Yeah,
like they was in the sweepstakes to get their quarterback they got now, right? We
that's right.
feel that
But
we feel the same thing about the Jets. They're in the
well,
sweepstakes to get a
remember that
quarterback,
game? We
right?
kind of ran it up on them before the half, and the
Right.
D line kind of teed off on Tua,
On
and
Tua,
I
he
don't
got
think
sacked 5 times in a row,
that's right. I don't
and,
think
and
we
McDaniel took him
saved him
out.
the rest of the game. Yeah, we kept
We
him out the rest of the game.
kept him out
Let's
the
hope.
rest of the game.
Well, I'll be watching for this scenario, crypto,
It's
because I'll.
exactly. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you right now, I'm going to go live instantly. if,
Well, we'll be
if
we'll
if
be
we
live. You
if
can
that
come up and
scenario
be like,
plays out when
oh,
Tua got to get taken out because we worried about him getting hurt, oh
we'll
my
be
God, that's gonna
we'll
be
be calling
crazy.
you Nostra Crypto here after
Nostra,
that.
right? I'm gonna have to change
Mhm.
my name to Nostra Crypto. This
That's
is
it.
crazy. You want to know what happened to last year? Was crazy. We've had our Baltimore game, right? Guess what game that was?
The Denver game.
Nope, the Baltimore game. Remember how we
Okay.
beat
Comeback.
Baltimore?
Oh, where you came back and won it? I don't know what.
Even though it's a bigger comeback, but the same type of high scoring and back and forth in the fourth quarter.
The Chargers.
The Charger game, exactly.
We started that Baltimore game.
Right.
Okay.
Right. The Charger game ended where it was back to back. Like we kept going score for score, and then it came down to a defensive stop at the end to keep them out of the end zone from getting that field goal. The
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore game ended that way too, where we scored a touchdown at the end on offense, and we held on at the end on defense for the final score.
Bitch, what the fuck?
High scoring, but it was a road game, big road win, right, against the then playoff team, the Ravens. Remember the first game this year, it was a previous playoff team in the Chargers. So we've had that Raven game already this year. It was the Chargers game.
Yeah, but think about the games from last year to this year that are different. You got the Chiefs, you got the Eagles, and you got the
The Chiefs and
Ravens, who
Eagles.
are
Now
the
the
Chiefs,
win
Eagles, and the Ravens this year are completely different scripted teams right now. I mean,
different,
the Ravens this
right,
year look crazy. If the Chiefs
right,
lose tonight, the Ravens will be the number 1 seed with 8 wins. It's crazy.
exactly.
They look unstoppable right now.
Let me see what does the hairstyle got to do with football hairstyle. Oh, they
And
having a
what's
chat
funny
with each
is
other. Oh, I'm gonna
the
say this real
Eagles.
quick.
The Eagles with one loss. Guess who that one loss came to? The team we're about to face next week.
Oh, that's right.
That's what's crazy. That's what's so crazy about this season. You want to know what, Cap? You want to crazy about? Remember when we lost to Minnesota, right?
Yes.
Remember,
I
they
do.
only had one loss
Yep.
up until that point. So we had played Minnesota, we lost to Cincinnati, and we lost to the Jets, right? Those were our three losses for the three losses last year leading up to this week, right? We could
Mhm.
say Minnesota last year was kind of like when we played the Eagles.
No,
The
because the Eagles
Bengals,
robbed us. The Minnesota game we lost at home, and the Dolphins fans, nobody showed up for it. It was like, oh, Tua's not
yeah, we were at
playing.
home.
We're not gonna try to even win this game.
But no,
it was almost like they
remember,
conceded it.
see, remember I'm feeding on the feeling of what the fans felt. We
Okay.
felt we was robbed in Minnesota game too, because of Waddle dropping the football, fumbling, us shutting down Dalvin Cook, and we should have won that game even with Teddy Bridgewater. We forced 10 straight punts in that game. You see, I'm just feeding on how we felt on whatever game. We felt we was robbed in Philly. A lot of people did, right? I would argue that the game to that last year was Minnesota. We felt we was robbed by in that game. Not by that, but just by our own players and their
I don't know,
performances on the
Crypto. I think
field.
you're stretching all over the field now. I liked your week 10 and your potential on week 11, but you're stretching all over the place.
I'm just giving you this. I'm just giving you the three teams that we played and lost to, and who they were this year compared to last year. That's
So
all.
you want to compare? Well, again,
But see, the
I would.
Bengals. The problem is we don't have this year's Bengals game because we didn't play on Thursday night. We do play Friday evening or
We play
afternoon.
Monday. We play Monday night against the Titans. That could potentially be our Bengals game,
Right.
but the Titans ain't no good.
See, the Titans ain't no good. But see, remember
And the
Buffalo,
Bengals ain't no good this year either. They're done. They're cooked. Their egg is
right?
cooked.
We played Buffalo on the road early this year, but last year we didn't play them on the road, so there was no Buffalo. Even though we lost to them, we didn't lose to them till late in the season last year,
Yeah.
right? So remember, we're only working with three losses. So remember, Philly, Buffalo, and KC. So last year, the KC game, it was 7 points. Remember, the Cincinnati game, until Bridgewater threw that interception, it was a 1 point game.
Well, I'll tell you what. We get through Friday and beat the Jets. I know they have a backup quarterback, but they haven't been winning games with their offense all year. But if we can get through the Jets, I'll feel a hell of a,
You know what? Color just brought it to my attention. I was onto something. We did feel like we were screwed because Skyler had 5 straight penalties against them on one of those drives in the Minnesota game.
I remember
So
that.
the feeling was the same as the Eagles game. So there you go. I forgot about
touche.
that part. So yeah,
Touche, I
we do
remember
have
that.
a parallel. We do have our parallel to the Eagles game for last year's game. And remember, they only had lost one game, just like the Eagles. They had only lost one game. So we was feeling robbed. Sound eerily familiar. Now we got to pick out who's this year's Cincinnati game, because we got the Buffalo game already that happened. Right? It's crazy because
well, I don't want that Cincinnati game this year.
The Jets, remember? I would say the Jets game, even though we had a different quarterback, was this year's Buffalo game. We lost 40-17 to the Jets last year. We lost 48-20 this year. So last year's Jet game outcome was almost the same spread as this year's Buffalo margin and outcome. So there you have it. Those are the three. Cincinnati, KC, Buffalo, the Jets, Minnesota, and Philly. It's lining up, man. It's crazy. It's scary.
Week 11, who did we play last year again? And did we lose week 11?
Week 11, we did make it to 8-3. We made it to 8-3.
Okay.
Before the collapse.
And then so it was the following week we started dropping games.
Right. We start dropping games.
To San Francisco. That was the
Holy
first one.
shit. I'm telling you right
But
now, I'm going to play my lottery tickets if we win next week and start losing.
well, but it'll be home against the Titans, who may only have 3 wins at that
But
point.
see, the problem is because the back half of our schedule is so loaded at home versus road.
Okay.
The Charger game last year will have to be the Cowboys game this year in order for everything to line up exactly where it did last year.
Hey guys, I gotta run inside, but
Oh, go
Crypto,
ahead.
pass the Dutchie. You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
Like,
I know. Oh man, this is interesting. This is crazy. Yep, 83 going into San Fran. Yep. So that would project a win 30-5 next week or on Friday if everything's perfectly lined as the way they were last year. But the bad news is that our offensive lineman goes down. Tua gets benched in the second half because Mike McDaniel is afraid of the Jets hurting him. What do you think, Shake Money?
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy thought experiment on how a lot of games last year mirrored this year, even though we're 7-3, and even the fan base having a similar feeling going into next week's games as we did going into week 11's games last year. He said, who's it? Michael K said, Raphael, stop spreading fake news. Oh, we talking to each other. No Robert Hunt versus the Jets out here. No, Jay, I don't know. I think Robert Hunt's still down. I got to double check on his status. I think it was day by day. Don't quote me on that, Jay. I'm just speculating. I don't know. Welcome, Bahana. This year, the stage is set. It's set the same, but the cards are better.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's why the point I made, Color, that it feels like deja vu because we're both 7-3, both teams. Shout out to Mike McDaniels for going 7-3 once yet again, and the team performing and living up to his expectations. And the cards are better because we have Jalen Ramsey and we have Elliott, and who else we added that was key on defense? Because it was Bradley Chubb last year when we added around this time, or 4 weeks ago this time last year. So we added some key pieces on defense, and it was helped us to get to where we were at. Now, when we went on that slide, we did have our starting quarterback. We was missing other people. I think Tua missed 4 of those 5 games. I mean, he didn't miss. He played 4 to 5 games. So to Mensa's point earlier in the chat, we believe that was unfreeze the clock, unfreeze the time machine, and we think that we're going to correct what we didn't do last year. Because up until week 10 right now, it is almost a eerily similar feeling and results that we had.
Well, here's one difference. We're not going across the country for 2 games in a row.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what's different after week 10. But everything almost lined up week 10 through week 1. You see what I'm saying? So yes.
Not only did we stayed in LA for 2 weeks, but we had to come back home only to go back up north to play Buffalo.
Which was stupid. They should have just flew straight to Buffalo. Why did they fly to Miami just to fly another 1,500 miles to go play a game on Saturday when you just played the previous Sunday night? So they played Buffalo Saturday night. They played Sunday night the week prior. So it was already 6 days different. Why go south to Florida for cross country 3,000 miles and fly another 1,500 miles to go play a game in the snow? That was asinine. Apparently, I'm not their travel agent, or they booked their tickets, Rick Shake Money. So I would have flew the asses straight to Buffalo. If he'd have told me just go camp out in the hotel and you know, you might have to go get a couple of $2 hookers and
Mhm.
have at it. Just enjoy yourself, let the time pass by. Because we know Michael K. Buffalo is the armpit of America. So yeah, that's probably why they didn't want to go there, Shake, because of
Mhm.
the city. Now, had it been like Houston, oh, it would have been there. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
Oh, okay. Uh, oh man, my mic is going on. All right. Hey, welcome, Raphael. Welcome.
The OG
Um,
Raphael, by the way,
yeah, Raphael. Raphael.
the original.
Hang on one moment. Okay, I'm back. He said, check out another mitigating service while with Buffalo embarrasses. Yeah. Well, I won't necessarily say mitigating circumstance because it was a mitigating circumstance as the way we feel after we got destroyed by the Jets 42-17 last year. So it all lines up. It still makes you feel like we're in the same time loop going from week 1 to week 10 this year and week 1 to week 10 last year. Our fan base was feeling like it was mitigating circumstances after that blowout win against the Jets. A loss against the Jets, I mean. Let's see. Let's see. Raphael. Oh, Jay is going back and forth with somebody. We should have flown to Toronto and practiced at the Rogers Center. Is that another facility, like
Hmm.
a sporting venue? Hmm.
So,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that was the thing I was gonna say. But we know that week 11 through week 18 is on the horizon,
hmm,
and that starts on Friday. So, you guys, I agree. It may feel like deja vu, but only the Dolphins have the power to make it sure it's not deja vu. Because it only becomes deja vu if we finish 9-8 and lose to the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs and get bounced in the playoffs. That makes it officially deja vu, but the feeling is there after playing 10 games. Yep. So so what say you, Shake Money?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I just figured, we have we've gone far. We've come a long way. We did what we had to do as far as getting back to this point. Kind of like when the Spurs lost in the NBA Finals to the Miami Heat, and that Ray Allen hit that 3-pointer in the corner. All the Spurs could do is talk about getting back to that point in which they will be playing in the finals again, hopefully against the same team, so they could prove who really was the better team. What happened the very next year?
hmm,
The Spurs destroyed them.
yeah. But you know what? I tell you what. The only
You see
difference,
what
I
I'm
think, the
saying?
only difference between this year and last year is we got some quality wins last year. I would say the Ravens had a winning record, and we beat the Buffalo Bills with team with a winning record. I think
Yeah.
that kind of separates this year from
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah. As far as the quality of wins, the feeling will be different as far as last year. And you want to know? I talked to you. I said this before.
Hmm.
If we want to give our team the excuse of missing our quarterback, guess what? Tua played every single game this year, right?
Hmm.
We still have a 7-3 record. If you want to argue that we would have won more games with
Yeah.
Tua last year, at this time last year, we be at a minimum 9-1 or 10-0 if you want to argue that Tua would have won all the games he missed. Now he only missed 2.5 games. He missed half the Cincinnati game, the Jet and Viking game. If you want to give them that argument and say we would have won those games without a shot of a doubt, then you will have to admit that last year's team is better than this year's team.
Mm-hmm.
Because by definition, they would have a better record with Tua playing all the games last year and Tua playing all the games this year. See,
Yeah.
so that's the conundrum that they put themselves in when they use that argument that we would have won every game that Tua missed. Then you would have to also argue at this point last year's team is better than this year's team.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tua didn't miss any games this year. Well, what was that comment? I missed it. My bad. He said one more win by the Broncos and that record be 6-5, which means we beat a good team, which means we backed into beating a good team. it don't quite work that way, Jermaine. That's not how they'll tell you.
At the end of the day, look.
Just like you were, my bad. You were back into losing to a bad team if Buffalo loses next 2 games. I'm sorry.
All I know is that at the end of the day, man, this is the time of year where teams are in desperation mode, and you know what they say about a cornered animal is the most deadliest animal. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, right.
So I think this is where
Right.
there's enough film out on you. This is where teams are gelling with each other. This is where
Hey, you had TV in the background?
Huh?
You have TV in the background?
No, I don't hear any TV in the background.
You don't hear any background noise?
No, sir.
Okay. Oh, okay.
How about you?
I'll just one. I thought you heard some background noise. TV.
No. But this is where the rubber meets the road.
Yep.
This is where all the teams start to separate themselves. This is where some teams start getting hot at the right time, and this is where teams
it starts this upcoming weekend.
Down. Huh?
It starts this upcoming weekend. Yeah, that's when they start.
Yeah.
If not early, at least the second week of December is when. But see, remember the 1 seed. Well, actually, I won't say the 1 seed because the Ravens and the Chiefs. If the Chiefs lose, Ravens number 1, but the Chiefs will be separated by only 2 games in the loss column to the 7th seed. The same as last year.
Mm-hmm.
This 2 seed was not that much separation from the 7th seed, so it's gonna come down to a lot of little mini tiebreakers if you don't win your division. So that's why it's key to win your division. If you don't win your division, you just put yourself in a whole mess because you got 8 teams vying for 3 spots. Right.
By the way, that's
which is ridiculous.
That's Family Feud buzzer. Cat for life. Get your buzzers right. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So we got us at 7-3. The 7th seed is only 1 game separated from us, but we're 7-3, which means any slide of 2 games or more, you could be on the outside looking in a blinking of an eye.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna do crypto. I'm gonna go ahead and look at the standings. I'm gonna list off the 10 teams in the AFC, right, versus the top 10s and the NFC. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I hope we're not the Cardinals too.
Let's do the NFC first. Okay.
Welcome, EM. Hey, EM, what's going on, man? Welcome to the chat, man. Feel like it's a little deja vu, man. I've been going over all the 10 games this year and the 10 games last year. They almost line up 1 for 1. Of course, the outlier game is the Denver game, but that was last year's Browns game. But go ahead, Shake Money.
All right, here we go. The top 10, the number 10 team for the NFC is you got the Atlanta with the 10 seed. Rams with the
Uh-huh.
9 seed,
Right.
Packers with the 8 seed, and then here we go, the playoffs. We got Minnesota at 6
Mhm.
and these teams, all these teams that I just mentioned are 4 and 6. Okay, in
Exactly.
the hunt, because if you're in the
Exactly.
top 10, you're in the hunt.
You're in the hunt, right?
And then you
Yep.
got Minnesota with 6 and 5, Seattle at 6 and 4, Dallas at 7 and 3, New Orleans at 5 and 5, mind you, their higher seed. San Francisco at
Yes, it's
7
because
and
they're in the
3,
division tie. I mean, they have the division lead.
Detroit at 8 and 2, and Philadelphia at 8 and 1. That's the NFC.
Right.
Hey,
I'll
look,
explain that New Orleans ones. The New Orleans, because the first 4 division winners automatically get the first 4 seeds.
by the
But
way,
go
look,
ahead.
it's Josh Allen is the next Tony Romo.
Yep. Or the next well, what's his name? Puts
Okay, we have the top 10.
Andy Dalton.
This is in the hunt. We have Denver Broncos at 5 and 5
Hmm.
in the hunt. Indianapolis Colts in the hunt, and the last team that's in the hunt is the Buffalo Bills at 6 and 5. And here are the playoff teams. You got Pittsburgh at 6 and 4, Houston at 6 and 4, Cleveland at 7 and 3 with the 5 seed. Then we have the top 4 seeds, which is Miami at 7 and 3, Jacksonville 7 and 3, Baltimore 8 and 3, and then Kansas City at 7 and 2.
Hmm.
And the
Well, then
Raiders
say
just
that
dropped down to the
well,
12th seed right now.
so Kansas City. So the Raiders are 12th seed, but they only got 6 losses, right?
Huh? Yeah.
They got the Raiders. They got 6 losses, but they're the 12th seed.
Yeah.
And what is the 2 seeds record?
The 2 seeds is 8 and 3.
So you mean to tell me only 3 games separate the 2nd seed from the 12th seed? Well, we have 8 games left to play.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There's a segue to last week's topic, a playoff jigsaw, because a 3-game slide, by definition, they can make up. The 12th seed can make up on the 2nd seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got that right? Because Kansas City is in the same division. Let's say hypothetically that team was to beat Kansas City and they was at 3 losses. If the Raiders was one of those 3 teams, guess who leapfrogs Kansas City?
Mm-hmm. And guess what though? And let's check this out. You know the 3 next opponents for the Bills, because they're like I said, they're the 8th seed. And right now, next week they got to play the Eagles. They got to go to Philadelphia. They got to go to Kansas City, and then they host the Cowboys.
Right.
That's the next 3 games.
That's why either it's either a 10-7 team won't make the playoff, or a couple of 9-8 teams will make the playoffs, or at least one 9-8 team. Because that 9-8 team was us. It would have been the Patriots, because if the Patriots would have beat the Bills, it would have been them. Mm-hmm. So it was guaranteed a 9-win team was going to make the playoffs. It's crazy. But yeah, a 3-game or 2-game losing streak by any of the teams that's not the top 4 or 3, they could be on the outside looking in. Mm-hmm. So screwing trying to have a December, avoiding deja vu from last year's December, we can't even afford a 2-game collapse. Because all it takes is a Buffalo 2-game win. We're on the outside looking in, just like they were. We basically swap positions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it if everything else is even. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at least last year it took 4 games in a row for us to slide out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would only take 2 games in a row losing for us to slide out of the playoff contention.
I just want to address this real quick. I agree with Robert Trainer here. Yesterday, I loved the way Antonio was coaching. He was managing the game. He wasn't managing the players. He let his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator manage the players. He was managing the games. He was making sure that
Mhm.
looking at the reviews. He was making sure that the little details that head coaches should look at. You know what I mean? He was
Yeah,
pumping his guys and motivating
it's fun
at,
though.
at the same time. Just uh putting his input where he needs to put his input. For the most part, he had his microphone up. He really wasn't focused on calling plays too much,
Yeah. No
which is
color. No, no. I was reading color comment, but go ahead.
yeah. So yeah, I love.
Yeah,
And what's funny? And the Raiders ain't gonna hire him as a head coach, which is sad. I guarantee you, they're
it's
not gonna
sad.
hire him.
They
They'll
won't.
probably hire. They'll probably hire somebody like fucking I don't know, man. Bill
That's
O'Brien or
the
some shit.
that's the
Another
that's the
fucking. You
Dave.
know what I
It's
mean?
the Davis family. Yeah, I hear you.
They'll
I
probably
hear you.
hire Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, that's the Davis family for you. He
Hmm.
said the 2 game win streak for one of the 5 or 6 loss teams and a 2 game uh slide by 3 win teams, and they're all back in it. Yep, they're all back in it. Wake up, who 14. What actually colored that actually did happen last year. That is exactly what happened. We were sitting at 8-3. A 4 game slide by us
Hmm.
puts us on the brink, and now we lose control of our own destiny. We went from the 2nd seed to the 8th seed in less than a month.
Hey, fun fact. Fun fact.
So that's what actually happened, Color. In less than a month, we went from 2 to 8, just like that.
Hey,
Bam.
fun fact. Fun fact. I think what happened was Ross. Al Davis told Ross if they kept the game close, he'd give Ross his barber number to his barber.
Right.
So next week, if you see Ross with a different haircut, you know what happened.
Right. Right. Yeah, it just makes for good holiday football. The best time of the year. It'd be tidings of joy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we were saying we don't want the Packers to put coal in our stockings. I
From
guess
King
that
Kong to
that that
Curious George.
the Packer game will be like this year's um Cowboy game, meaning that we better not be on the slide up to that point, right? We have to make sure that that's not that. But we still want to win it because we want to show, hey, this is a good team. We overcame a good defense, and we'll be playing on the road next week against the following week against the Ravens for New Year's Eve. Yeah, and then of course to close out the Buffalo, we just got to maintain that 2 game margin in the loss column to make that Buffalo game irrelevant by the time we play them.
See, I like how color he covers both
Good evening,
bases.
both Raphaels.
Good evening to
Yeah,
both
both
Raphaels.
Yep. Of course, our guy, the Raphael,
Yeah, man,
the
Raphael Courtright, man.
Johnson and Courtright, and the Chasen. That's how you pronounce it, right? If you pronounce Chase as a Chasen,
Hey,
oh
and he's
Chasen.
a fellow veteran, Raphael Courtright. He's a Marine.
Oh, he's a Marine. Okay.
Yeah,
Happy belated Veterans Day.
yeah, yeah.
And see, Dolphinier said, crazy thing. We are considered a top offense. Well, Dolphinier, guess what? We got the top offense this year. We wasn't. We were still top 10 in offense last year. We was top 6. I mean, overall, but not in scoring. But I like to put that out there. Uh, a scoring offense wasn't as good as this year. We may have dropped maybe 3 points in our average per game because of the Chiefs game and the Raiders game. I think our point per game dropped by 3 points after yesterday because we had a sub 25 point per game. I think we may have dropped a few points because of the last two, you know,
Hmm.
the last 2 games. But yeah, what are you offering? What is freaking Michael K talking about? Wonderlic scores. Marines scored low on them Wonderlic for Navy standards. Well, I was Navy and Army. I don't belittle our devil dogs. They go out and fight for us too. The Marines are gung ho. I know a lot of sharp Marines, smarter than me, 10 times smarter than me, that are Marines that I've met in person. You know, so yeah, they get a bad rap.
But shit,
For
I'll
some
tell you what,
reason.
man. You have to have a lot of physical fortitude to freaking be a marine
Right, you do. Zero
because they're the
three
first ones
three
in.
one to you too, crypto. Wait a minute. Did he try to type in something? He said 0331. Raphael, what was you trying to say? What am I missing? Did he say something before that?
I guess happy 331 to you. I guess happy
Oh,
Veterans Day.
oh, okay. Got it. Okay, cool. No, I thought he said something before he made that statement. Okay, cool. Appreciate it. The months. Okay. Mas. Cool.
Josh Allen is the next Tony Romo.
Josh Allen is the next Andy Dalton.
The Red Rifle is
Right.
gonna be
That's what I'm saying. It dropped down. We were like at 35, I think.
Josh Allen is gonna dye his hair red.
Uh right. That's why I say we gave ourselves enough cushion to collapse to right around 30 or under 30 where Kansas City was at. So I know we dropped a bit. I thought it was 3 full points because of the Eagles and the not the Eagles, the KC and the Raiders game. Hell, KC and the Raiders fared well better than the Chargers and the Broncos did. They represented their division better than the Broncos and Chargers did.
So let me ask you this question,
Yeah, go
Crypto.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
With the climate, today's climate on TV, the paradigm, I would say the TV paradigm, how everything is drama sells, right?
Yeah.
That's why you had Jerry Springer's be like one of the highest rated. Your Jerry Springer's cops. You look at the TV landscape where drama sells. Now, I say that to say this: what will be a higher ratings grab? The Dolphins successfully uh winning out the rest of their games
Hmm.
and making a Super Bowl run. I'm talking about, yeah. If for us, it's going to be good. But I'm talking about from a nation standpoint. Let's take our fanhoods out of this, or a season collapse where everything goes to shit and there's nothing but fuck you drama, finger pointing.
Oh man, it's got to be the latter for
Yeah.
drama and ratings. It's got to be the latter. By far, that's gonna be that epic. You know. Oh my God. But yeah, I got you. 03 numbers, infantry. We was first to 15 infantry. We was Bravo series is the infantry for the army label. M is the mechanized infantry. So if you mechanize, you would be the Bravo series. Hotel is the howitzers and artillery. I want to say the Foxtrot series is field battery, artillery. They got different names. Raphael for the army. Phonetics. They use the alphabet for their
Mhm.
ratings for their numbers. The Navy, we did in the Navy too, because we was more like a 2-letter identifier for your rate for your trade. Because I was an AC, air traffic controlman. But yeah, that speaking of your point, Shake Money. Yeah, that
Mhm.
us just collapsing and everybody finger pointing, going at each other. Yeah, that would be the highest rating. Of course, for Dolphins, that'd be a nightmare fan base. We want the former, but for ratings, it would be the latter. Yeah, we definitely, yeah. It would be Jerry Springer meets Oprah Winfrey meets Murray Povich meets Jerry Judy. I mean Judge Judy meets Judge Joe Brown. Um it would be
Hey,
all
by
of
the way,
them. wrapped in
the
one.
man with the best name in the business wants to thank you for your service too. By the way.
Yep, I appreciate it, Dolphin. There. Yep, best name in the business.
No, but that would be crazy, man. I mean, they'll be like, "Hey, refs, do me a favor. We need you to screw the Dolphins because we want the more turmoil in the locker room, the better ratings we're gonna get."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, he said. Look at Michael K is up there. He's talking about Josh Allen lost 3 games for the Bills. Welcome. Yeah, it's the NFL, Michael K. Quarterbacks do lose games for you, but not single-handedly. I would not let you get away with that. There's no such thing as a single-handed uh, task in the game where 53 men participate. It just can't happen. It's like me sitting on the opposite end of the chessboard, right? Granted, it's just me and the other person. I have to force him to make a move in order to get it to a point where I'm going to pin his queen and box her in for a checkmate, or pin his king in for a checkmate. Right? It's not like chess or tennis, where it's one-on-one sport. Where you pose your will single-handedly on the opponent. That's not the way football works, Michael K. You know this. It's mathematically impossible for one guy to single-handedly lose a game where freaking 53 men participate. And now he can get close to 99%, but it'll never, ever be 100%. It's impossible. Well, yeah, go ahead, Shake Money.
No, you're good.
He said,
But look,
well,
at the end of the day, I think.
Go ahead. I'm just laughing.
But no,
at
but I
Michael
was
K's
saying,
foolishness.
look, what makes the Raiders a bad team? I was telling you, what makes the Raiders a bad team? The fact that if people say the Raiders are a bad team because they only beat bad teams, well, they're just pointing. The saying. The saying, when you point one finger, you got 3 pointing back at yourself.
Yep. 3 pointing back at you.
I mean, it's
They
not unheard
contributed. No,
Huh?
I never contest. No, I was just going back and forth, Michael K. No,
Okay.
Michael K. I only contest the absolutism in the statement. 3 interception against the Jets, didn't lose the game? Question. I never said it didn't lose the game. It contributed to losing the game. Big difference. A contribution into losing the game means just that. But
Well,
outright losing the game, no, because I'm going to get real technical with you. The defense still had to catch the football. There's no
all you gotta do is
guarantee if
talk
you
about
throw the ball, the defense is going to catch it. You see what I'm saying?
There's been 2 games where Tua had 3 interceptions and we won the game. As a matter of fact, Jared Goff had a 3 interception game yesterday and they won.
And they won. Exactly. So that kills that narrative, because just because you throw 3 interceptions, the defense still have to catch them. That was still some participation by somebody other than the person throwing it to him.
Hell,
That's all my point is.
Tom Brady had 3 interceptions. Tom Brady had 3 interceptions in the 4th quarter against Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship and went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
even if the other person catches them interceptions, the offense or the defense, even if it's a pick six, still, once again, defense still has to score. The defense still has to catch the football. There's still other participation in that action. That's why it'll never be 100% anybody to blame for losing a game where it's more than one participant.
What's good, Color?
What's good, Color?
What's good, guys? I just came up to say, Crypto, you're wasting your breath. Michael K is used to single-handed games. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. He's confusing me with just not giving any assignment than to giving all the assignment. Yes, Josh Allen did participate.
Well,
He didn't participate by himself, is what I'm arguing.
Well, that's all they play up in Buffalo in the wintertime is single-handed games, you know.
Yeah, they play
Right.
handball. What's that, handball?
Right. Handballs. Exactly.
Hey, I'll be back.
Right.
Y'all hold it down for me, Color. I'll be back.
All right, Shake.
Right on. Yeah, Crypto, I
Yeah,
don't
my
disagree with like I get the deja vu thing. It really does. It is lining up about the same. You know, and I think that's partly why I've been so much more optimistic because like we got, you know, we had a lot more on our plate once we hit 8-3 last year. I mean, look, I'm not trying to look down
Yeah.
opponents and all that stuff, but it is what it is. It's different facing a 3-7 team than it is to face a 7-3 team. I don't care what anybody says. You know, we're not going to play
Yeah.
this. Oh, you guys are
Right.
looking through opponents' game. No, we're talking ball. I mean, we're talking as NFL viewers
Yeah.
right now. You know what I mean? And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think if I was to like, if somebody were to say, Color, same situation, 8-3 at right at the same time of the year, as you so astutely pointed out. Put your money on last year in our propositions, even if the team was the same, even if we were as good last year as we are this year. I'm not going to argue that because it don't matter. That's irrelevant because I still think
Yeah.
we would have better results given our future in this season than our future was at 8-3 last season. You know,
Right.
and it's
Because
partly because
the schedule
you know
piece.
that part that got
Road
us
games.
really hard last year. We got to face that at the beginning of the year, and we took care of business. Yes, inferior opponents, I get it, but that's precisely what you have to do: is open the season on the road for 2 games, and then come across
Yeah.
country and be 3-0. We earned the easiness of our schedule going forward. If people want to say it's easy in comparison to others' schedules, because nothing's easy. You know what I mean? Like they're all still. And as
That's
we
why.
pointed out a minute ago, you're going to have a slew of 5 and 6 lost teams. You know that still sort of have a shot if all the cards go
Yeah.
the right
Everybody's
way.
not right. The 12th seed
Which
is
we
only 3 games separated from the
right.
second seed.
And because football is a tough game and there's a lot left to be played, and we saw what happened to Buffalo. Yeah, a good team could slide 2 games. A bad team could go on a 3-game winning streak, and boom, there you go. All of a sudden, those waters are as muddied as they are every single year, and week
Right.
14
That's
plus. You know what I mean?
right. All it takes is a handful of teams
Right.
to have a 3-game slide or 3-game
H-
winning streak, and you
Hence,
got a
hence,
jumbled
the
mess.
reason. Hence the reason we even made it into the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
You know,
Because you had that
let's not kid ourselves.
slide. You had that jet slide at the end of the season that
Right.
kind of kept us afloat.
But I firmly believe, I mean, we were in there, and again, we were in the same spot last year with all the same things to achieve. You know, in other words, we were talking about, we were scoreboard watching for seeding, not for getting to the playoffs. Well, that turned on a head really quick, as you
Right.
also astutely point out. You know what I mean? Like, you go from
Yeah.
chopping it up about scoreboard watching for seeding to scoreboard watching to even make the playoffs.
Just to even make it. Right.
You know,
We went from the 70s percentage to
right.
make the playoffs to
And that's why,
40% in one weekend. In
right.
one
And that's
single
why,
weekend.
and that's why, even though I push back on people a lot of times they'll come at me about the stats and projections as a lazy argument. But then there are those that say, okay, Color, but be mindful that the human beings still have to collapse that wave function. And I have fully agreed with that, admitted to, and I can engage with people in a fair debate that are willing to point that out because I agree with that. It is up
Right.
to the human beings involved to make
They
those
have to do it.
projections what they are currently at. You know,
Right.
but the
They have
projections
to
are
pull.
what they are because of strength of schedule, stuff like that. What we put down on paper already this year, all of that, matchups, they factor all of that in with these projections, man. You know, so weather
Right.
even.
Yeah.
which is why I think that you'll see it fluctuate. You'll actually see the decimal point go up or down a couple spots by the minute sometimes, because there's one variable that changes by the hour that they're factoring in, and that's the weather. You know what I mean? So they're factoring everything in those projections, man. You know, we start getting a bunch of storms roll through here. It may not be so good. Maybe they'll chop a win off of our win column. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there again,
it's just like difference.
You know,
4
out of our last 7 are at home. Right, 4 out of our last 7 are at home. We've proven once again, when we were saying yesterday before the game, we were saying 5 of our last 8 are at home. And, and we were relying on the clout of our current season's home record and home performances to say, yeah, we should expect a win against the Raiders. And we got it. So now we got 4 out of 7 home games left to play. And we just simply weren't in the same scenario last year when it comes to what's before us. So that's what I meant in my comment about, yeah, the stage is pretty much the same, but the cards are a lot different. Plus, like you pointed out, player personnel. Jalen Ramsey. I mean, geez, what a game yesterday, man.
Yeah. Right.
I think we can safely say that
it was just different cast of characters.
Yeah,
we both achieved 7 and 3.
Right.
At the same point this time.
But I could safely say, I think we could safely say that Jalen Ramsey is truly comparable to Deion Sanders. I'm not afraid to make that comp anymore and stand on my square. You know what I mean? And also,
he's up in a conversation.
I also want to point out, you just made a great point about the cast of characters, because I could also say, hey, wait a minute. How much better, even though they were good with Aaron Donald and all that shit over in the Rams, how much better were they after they got rid of Goff and got Ramsey? I don't remember correctly, maybe, but I don't think Ramsey was there in the Goff season, was he?
No. Well, no, I think he had 1 year with them, before.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he
was he with them in the Goff year, in the last Goff year? I thought they got him when they got Stafford.
Yeah, the same year. Yeah.
Right. So you know what I mean. You could chalk the getting over the edge of the Super Bowl up to them getting Jalen Ramsey as much as you could swapping out Goff or Stafford.
No, they definitely needed that boost, because Cooper Kupp game went to another level.
Because then later,
Sam
Donald,
playing lights out.
Right, and remember, right before the playoff run, they brought in Weddle back off the street to supplement that secondary.
Yeah, they added Beckham
at like the last minute, right before their playoff, because you have to put out your playoff roster and all that, right? And if I remember correctly, they had brought in Weddle just for the playoff roster.
They added Beckham. They added Beckham in the middle of the season.
You're right, and Weddle right before the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Now, as people's seasons start ending, some players will request cuts and request whatever to get themselves on the market.
Well, Color was saying it was a part of the thing. I was saying they would have that discussion. I didn't necessarily agree with as the Deion Sanders that he is him, but people will have that conversation about.
I think it's fair to already start having it.
That that's what AB I guess didn't agree with Deion Sanders.
I mean, he was involved with a defense.
He did it with 4 teams. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying though. The conversation should be starting, because be real, Ramsey was involved with a team that had a quarterback that was throwing for 56 yards a game, and they got to the AFC Championship game. Let's talk about where Jalen Ramsey's been and what he's done.
Well, no, I think what they're going to separate him and Deion is that Deion was a heck of a returner too. He played more than just one position. He wasn't just a quarterback. He was
okay. Well, everybody look. The old saying. Remember the old adage. A master's not going to teach his protege everything. Otherwise, he would be better than the master, right? So I'll give Deion Sanders that edge. I'm not afraid to come to the table. I'm not trying to make this a LeBron Jordan argument. You know what I mean? Like, I'm willing to concede things about Jalen Ramsey compared to Deion. Deion's the greatest. I mean, what are you going to say? You know, he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know, you got to really, you got to get a few punt returns to be the GOAT. If you, I can't disagree with that. But if you're just talking about raw positional play and what he's done over his career and what he's poised to do, to continue to do, I mean, you got to put him on that level as a corner. I mean, you know, I'll give you the the special teams for Deion. I'll definitely give you that.
He was more complete versatile.
So that's what'll always edge him out over Jalen Ramsey. Agreed. I wholeheartedly agree with that. So everybody hears me. I agree with that. Because 6 months from now, we'll be arguing it again, and they'll be saying the same thing to me. Watch, Crypto.
Well, Michael K., you can stop talking about porn.
By the way, what's the saying? I taught you everything you know, but I didn't teach you everything I know.
Exactly.
Right.
A protege is only as good as what his master teaches him.
Right. Yeah, Jalen said, "Screw that! I'm not going to be catching no punt returns."
I mean, isn't this what the entire Skywalker anthology is about? You know what I mean? Like, you ran off before you were ready, and you didn't realize you're not the master, and it even took you decades later, and your son had to come, kill you to show it to you. You know what I mean? And he did the same thing you did, but he learned his lesson early enough, and he came and put you back down to your place that you should have been, because you never were the master.
Yeah, that's why this week I froze a time. I did a little time machine experiment with the deja vu. I froze week 10 this year, game 10 to game 10 last year, and went game by game, and almost game by game, all 10 games almost line up perfectly. It's just the different cast of characters and the different weeks of the season. It's crazy. And the fan base was feeling almost the same going into week 11 in both years. It's crazy. It's just now, as a fan base, we got to hope that, the back half of the schedule don't happen like last year. That's all we can root for. That's all that's left, fellas. That's it. Just no December to remember is the name of the game. No December to remember. Or December to remember, so we can't, repeat the process. So we have to make it show it only feels like deja vu, but not be deja vu. That's the key. Just make it so it only feels like deja vu, but don't be deja vu. Because if it becomes deja vu, we're destined for a lot of heartache in the next 6 weeks. And it's not going to be pretty. What's up, V21? EM is a pig. Who is that? That must be Jay. Changed his whole freaking persona. That's got to be Jay. EM is a pig. Yeah, that's Jay. That's definitely Jay. Josh Allen is the next Cleo Lemon. Shout out, man. Let's see.
Who knows? Joe Brady might be a good coordinator.
Bo G. It was cool. Name a good AC from the Belichick tree. Yeah, he just named it Shake Money. He beat me to it. Yeah, it's him. And of course, once he gets his next head coaching job, it will be none other than Brian Flores. Once he gets his next head coaching job.
So, hey, Crypto, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you weren't able to hear me first. I was going to say, what if Jalen Ramsey adds a fourth act to his career and starts blocking like three punts a season or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he do that on special teams and maybe take one to the house.
Yeah, he becomes that cross guy. We trade Sanders to the Jets, and Ramsey becomes that cross block guy on the special teams and blocks like Jason Sanders like 7 times before his career ends. Do we start putting him in Deion's category then?
Right. Raphael, you forecasting a sloppy game? It's going to be rain in Philly. Well, I'm glad it wasn't raining when I was sitting out there. It was a nice weather there at the time I was sitting in the stands. It's nice cool breeze, but it was nice. It was endurable. I was able to endure it. I am not gonna say the same for these next two upcoming games because it might be a little bit more chilly. Or the Commanders in the Raven game. I tell you what, man, that mascot they got that's my first time seeing a bald eagle up close. That thing flew into the stands and flew around. It's definitely trained, obviously, right? And I was like, what the hell is that? Then I saw these big ass huge wings, and I was like, holy shit, that was a bald eagle. And then he circled back down and went back to his trainer. I was like, holy shit, they flying eagles in the damn stadium. It was crazy. But yeah, I was like, damn, that thing. I just realized. I know
So
they have a large wingspan.
is that their version of the jet flyover, basically?
Yeah, that's their
That's
version of
pretty
it.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Cool.
was a version of it. They let a bald eagle fly around the stadium. I was like, "Holy shit!" That thing. When you look at them up close, you see them on TV and stuff. When you see them, well, when you see them things in
Oh
person,
yeah.
when I saw that one, that
Dude,
was the closest one
they
got
got
to
like
me.
they got like a 9.5-foot wingspan, bro. They're freaking ridiculous huge.
Yeah, I was like, "Damn, what's that?" And then of course, the signature, the white part of its head, right? And I was like, "Holy shit, freaking bald eagle!" Because you only see them in captivity, right? When you go to the zoo and stuff. But when you see him out in the wild, or either in the wild or at that time it was in the stadium, I was like, God damn, them wings is
Yeah,
huge.
there's a train ride you can take through. It's called the Verde Valley Railroad. It's in Camp Verde, Arizona, and you can take or Cottonwood actually, but you can take that train ride and it rides through a bald eagle sanctuary, so you can see them all out there in the wild. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Uh,
of course,
yeah,
them
it's
being
pretty cool.
protected, you can just
Right, right. And then at the
go there and
visitor
see.
center, and at the visitor center, they got like the whole rundown on all the different big birds that you can find throughout there, the California condors and all that. But
And
they
then those are
also
huge
have like
too.
yeah,
I
they
think
well,
there's
I was
like
gonna say that they also
12
have
feet
like
wingspan. Yeah.
right. Well, they also have like storyboards where they have like a full scale version of the bird where you can go and walk up and compare your wingspan to the bird. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's cool.
Right.
Cool
Yep.
place.
Yep. You could go straight
Everybody
South
go check
Carolina.
it out. Verde Valley Railroad over in Camp
Mhm.
Verde, Arizona.
By the way,
Cottonwood, Arizona.
did you hear the question I asked Crypto?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Caller?
Not sure. Not sure.
I asked him about all right now with the upcoming hard knocks whatever. And again, I need you to take your helmet head off, which you do a
Oh,
good
I
job
hate it.
doing it. You know
I
what I'm saying?
fucking hate it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I want you to look at it from the lens of a TV producer, okay?
Mhm.
Not a football guy, a TV producer. What do you think will bring more ratings? The Dolphins going all the way to
The
Super
dump,
Bowl
the
or
dump, the
Dolphins
dump,
collapsing?
the dumpster fire, the car accident. Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Why? This is one of the reasons I can't stand having that distraction in our building right now. And I don't know any team that has ever overcome the network's intent on making sure they get the drama that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
And you know what? It could be something like, let's say, a cameraman
Yeah.
got Tariq saying, God damn, man, I can't stand that Jalen Ramsey. He, in practice, whatever. He goes, hey,
Right.
Jalen Ramsey,
Well, even if it's how,
Tyreek Hill said he can't stand you. What do you
well,
think?
even if it comes down to, if it comes down to show framing, where they can make it look a certain way and just drag the team down morally. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
They
they could do
definitely
all
like
kinds of stuff, man.
train wreck
And then,
sales tickets.
look, look, I'm still with the dogs out there that say, hey, anytime, anywhere, any place, we should be able to handle anything. Well, I get it, but who really does that? Let's be real. I mean, Tony Romo couldn't even handle the Jessica Simpson fanfare.
Yeah, he couldn't.
Hell, the Chiefs can't handle the fucking Taylor Swift fanfare.
Taylor Swift.
I mean, we couldn't handle the Hard Knocks when it wasn't even like live. It wasn't even semi-live. You know what I mean?
Right. It was pre-recorded.
I mean, this isn't live either, but dang, you're following it pretty much along with in the season, and that's just man, the way that they can make framing on these shows. We all know they do it. We all know they do it with news headlines, whatever. It's called framing. I mean, we all know it can be done, man.
Like
and that's just the one thing that bothers me. I don't want nothing to do with it, and I really think that if you were to ask me, if you were to ask me to go with get totally in my feels and predict, the way Pete does and all that, and everybody else who's totally in their feels, yeah, our season's over because of that nonsense. I don't, I've lost all belief in this season because of that nonsense.
Listen,
welcome, Daniel.
That's why I laugh when the NFL says we pride ourselves in integrity of the game. If you did, you wouldn't allow these referees to dictate the fucking game.
Right. Integrity, man.
Well, they used to, Shake. I mean, they used to be the model of officiating across all sports, bro. When I was growing up, bro, you couldn't, I've said this before, you couldn't hear a gnat fart without the NFL recording that shit. Everything was checked and verified and a matter of the best possible version of reality there could be. You know what I mean? And now they threw that right out the window back in the late 2000s.
Kevin Hunt, you could still become a member.
We're starting Patreon.
Yeah, upon Patreon. Okay, but the Patreons is being started up.
Yeah, so
I guess he was trying to become a member.
But no, listen, I could see scenarios where there, where referees like, hey, we need to let's spice things up with Hard Knocks. You know what I mean? Blow a call or something like that. No look penalty and shit like that. You know what I mean? By the way, you want to drop the link soon, Crypto?
Go ahead. You can go ahead and do it now. You can drop it now. I was just gonna bring everybody up to speed. I know Lewis just came in with the googly eyes. Darren Smythe will be signing his contract. He will be signing his contract soon. So you can jot that down, Lewis, with the Sharpie. Smythe will be signing a 14-year extension for $300 million. There you go.
A 20-year extension for $14 million?
No.
As a matter of fact, he's going to sign such a long extension when his son graduates college. He's going to take over the contract.
Yeah, if we can work those deals out, we'll call it the nepotism contract. That's what we'll name the contract.
That'll be something a baseball player could do.
Baseball players.
We're going to sign you to such a long contract when your son finishes high school. He's going to take over the contract.
Right, exactly. We're just going to call it the nepotism contract. What's up, Louis?
Hey, listen, great show. I just wanted to come in before anybody, says, put words in my mouth or anything like that. I just want to, because, people are trying to convince people of certain things. Just for the record, I don't want Christian Wilkins on this damn football team moving forward. This season is fine, but should we sign Christian Wilkins? Absolutely not. I think if Miami makes that move, I think it'd be crippling to this team. Okay. I just wanted to come out and say that because Crypto, I don't know, Color, I know you were in there earlier. Crypto, I seen you in there earlier. But these people that just want to throw shit about Christian Wilkins in your face, like he's doing something like we've never seen before. Bro, stop.
Hey, you know, Lewis. You know me.
Right,
I'm my friend. The line.
I was hearing some of that, Lewis, when you was
You know me. I'm
when
the
you was
biggest
going down.
Christian Wilkins lover you'll ever meet.
Yeah. Yeah, I lost my ability to speak in those spaces, so I don't really know anymore. I didn't pay attention to the rest of it.
Yeah, I was hearing when I came in, I was hearing the tail end of the discussion about Wilkins. Now he's the best in sliced bread. We got to give him everything we can give him. You know, no matter if it cripples the offensive line, cripples the rest of the secondary, cripples the wide receiver. You know, I don't know, man. They
Hey,
was
listen,
Crypto.
Hey, listen,
Someone
how
told
many
me
other defensive linemen you know could do splits? Come on.
somebody told me today,
okay.
Crypto. Somebody told me today, Crypto, that we should sign Christian Wilkins because he was an academic scholar at Clemson.
Right. Oh my God.
What the fuck does that even mean?
That's what I'm saying. So
who gives a
that
shit?
means we got to pay we're gonna hold the rest of the team to those standards now. If Jason Sanders is the wins the Walter Payton of the Year award, now we got to adjust his contract accordingly, even though he misses 5 field goals in the clutch time in a row or whatever. Is that how we doing? I mean, come on. What he did at Clemson?
Yeah.
What's that got to do with Miami?
He won a national championship over there too in Clemson. Who gives a shit? What does that have to do with the Miami Dolphins?
Oh, don't tell me because he was a good person and he slaps people on the ass and he
Hey, listen, how many defensive
he's the greatest
linemen
cheerleader.
do splits?
He does splits. He's the greatest cheerleader. He's a leader in the locker room, as if being a leader is only exclusive to Wilkins for some reason. But yeah.
And apparently,
What about Holland? Matter of fact, I would argue that Holland is probably just as good as a leader as in the locker room.
Saying, Zach Seiler is only doing what he's doing because of Wilkins. Out of their fucking mind.
What's
Zach
the other
Seiler
guy
is
we
a
just
mountain
got?
of a man, bro. Ain't no way nobody
Elliott
through that motherfucker.
Isn't he a good leader, Lewis?
No, the only leader.
Things when he's in there?
No, the only leader we have on the team, Crypto, is Christian Wilkins.
Man, we playing people based on what they did
and
our
two sack leaders right now. Our two sack leaders with 5 and 5.5 is Chubbs and Jalen Phillips.
Right. Yeah, he's gotten up to 5 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he got credited for that other one. So yeah. So he's not
even leading for and Chubb is leading right now with 7 tackles for loss. Christian Wilkins with 6.
And I wasn't trying to derail the show, Crypto. I'm sorry, but I just
the show was the topic was over. We're just opening the panel.
I just wanted to get it out in the open and just let people know. Yes, I don't want Christian Wilkins on the team. So forward. Everybody
going forward.
We can get that out of the way now. Yeah, we can get it out of the way.
Right after the season's complete, and it's our final game of the season. Wilkins should be anybody else. That's the Patriots or Houston Texans.
Yeah, because he's not gonna take anything. He's not gonna take anything.
That's Belichick's problem, right?
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
He's not taking anything less than 20. That's for sure.
Oh, so he's not a Dolphin then? He's definitely not a Dolphin. I can tell you that much.
Oh,
we ain't paying him that much.
Oh, I'm
he ain't
sorry,
worth
but
it.
who's that chick that? Oh my God! Whenever she's in, he jumps into spaces. I fucking leave because I can't. You know me. I tolerate Pete, but this chick I can't tolerate. She's a big time Wilkins supporter. And she's like a Patriots
I know
fan.
you're talking about Jennifer.
Yeah, Jennifer.
Right?
Jennifer.
Yeah.
You talking about Jennifer? Yeah, I know exactly who you was talking about.
You talking about? She is like the true talk of Christian Wilkins.
Yeah. Yep. I know exactly who you're talking about, Shake. She is unbearable when it comes
but it's not only her. There were people in the space today talking about oh, well, Christian Wilkins was a first-round draft pick. Well, what the hell was that mean? So was Noah Igbenogany. You re-signing him?
Mhm.
Wasn't Austin
Yeah.
Jackson the people that say they don't want to pay Austin Jackson when he's playing at a top 3 right tackle level right now? Wasn't he a first-round pick?
Yep.
No one wants to pay him. But
And
now
they
all of
didn't
a
give him the
sudden, because
5th-year
Christian
option.
Wilkins was drafted in the first round, now we got to pay him though, right? Man,
They
fuck
didn't
out of here.
even give him the 5th-year option.
They didn't give Austin or no, obviously Noah they didn't give, and then Austin they didn't give. He was the top. Matter of fact, let's add the fact that he was a top 20 pick, just like Wilkins, right? If you want to make that argument, then they was only 18 slots different from where they was drafted. One was picked 13, one was 18. So, yeah. You know, you gonna use that argument for Wilkins. Why come Action Jackson ain't get that kind of love?
There's a lot
What
of
I
money you
don't
got to pay next year.
what I don't understand, Crypto, is these people, they're telling you they're willing to maybe lose 2 to 3 players to add 1 player.
Yeah.
Like make that
Yeah.
make sense for me. You're gonna keep 1, but you're gonna lose 3.
And you know what's funny?
Yeah.
They
Especially
talk
up front,
about
right? In the
they
trenches
complain
too, right?
about the
That's what they
offensive
trying
line
to
being
argue.
full of. They complain about the offensive line, right? If we pay Wilkins, we're gonna sign more Eichenbergs to that fucking line.
Compete.
You think we're gonna be able to get top quality linemen?
Oh, here we go
Yeah.
with the Eichenberg talk.
No, but you know what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
I know, Shake. I'm kidding. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, we gave him a shot.
I'm still waiting on a reason from the smart people out there. Since I'm a dumb motherfucker, I'm waiting for an answer from the smart people as to why we haven't moved off Liam Eichenberg in the off season, nor when we could have.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Damn. Wait a minute. Hold on. We just got a statement from the one of the legends. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me put on my glasses.
Who?
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Who you talking about? Sharif? You talking about Sharif?
Wait a minute. We just had a comment that just. Wait a minute. Let me stroll up. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, it's a simple answer. I mean, it's a simple question that I still haven't got an answer for, other than politics.
Lewis, there's a guy that goes by the name of Dolphin fan. Wait a minute. That guy.
I don't know who that is.
Wait a minute. He said Lewis is terrible, man. Whoa. Damn. Shots fired. Man. I think the word on the street that he was a legend, you know, like urban legend or legend, or was it an urban legend? Like Candyman.
Again, listen, I've already learned one thing. Being on YouTube, I've learned one thing. To people that I don't know of, I'm just not going to respond to anymore. I don't know who that is. You know what I'm saying? I only respond to credible people that make way. Now, if you told me Sharif was in the chat, maybe I'll listen to Sharif. But I want to just state for the record.
I'd also be wary. I would also be wary of people. I'd also be wary of supervillains wearing pajamas too. Be careful of those. Or superheroes. I mean,
Who did you say?
Got a lot of superheroes running around here too.
That would be bananas and pajamas.
Who did you say Sharif's a legend? No, Sharif is not a legend. He's a household name. There's a difference.
Yeah. Household name. Bro, listen, Shake. I listen to people that move the needle, right? Move the needle.
That's what Sharif
I don't know who that is.
Well, he's busting open coconuts and serving everybody pina coladas. That's what he said. That's what was said.
You say penis coladas?
Pina coladas. Well, Shake, I don't know about that. Oh, man. 74 hella sucks. Man, the hate is real thick now. The hate is really live.
We have an Eichenberg. No, but no, man. Look,
Eichenberg
at the end of the
is
day,
the
look,
anchor of our offensive
if
line
if
moving forward. Just ask Chris Greer.
if you think we're gonna get we need to resign Hunt. We need to resign Austin Jackson. We already have we got whatchamacallit, but we need to resign offensive linemen.
Yeah. I was gonna say that if I would have been in the space, I would have probably say that to get at Nene. I was gonna say Nene and Chris Greer was the player of yesterday's game. For its all season signings and closing out the game.
Mhm.
I know Nene wasn't gonna have that one. I was gonna throw a little jab at her and say, I give my game ball to Chris Greer for yesterday.
Hey, look how Dieter is balling out in whatchamacallit in Houston.
Yeah. You hear that, Batman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dieter's balling out. All those centers. When he plays center with us, Dieter, now he's out there balling.
Hey, what were you all talking about when it came to the referee? What game were you talking about? What was this all about? I missed it.
No, I ain't saying nothing about no. We didn't
I
mention
came
anything
in
about
when there
ref.
was discussions about refs saying like, growing up, XYZ refereeing, like you could hear somebody fart on the sideline, like back in the day.
Oh yeah, that was me. I was saying back when I was growing up, officiating was like, I mean, and just the way the NFL was about posterity was
Oh,
completely different. Like you couldn't hear a gnat fart without it being recorded. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I mean, I'm
I
being
mean,
facetious, but I was just,
Well, I was wondering if you were referencing our game against the Raiders and seeing like if there was something about the refs that I didn't notice.
no, I think
Like,
it was just we were talking about Hard Knocks and how it affects teams
okay,
and all
okay.
that, and how the NFL and the networks and everybody wants drama, and how like even the officiating creates some of that drama. You know what I mean? It wasn't any specific point this time around. I mean, nobody really talked about the Raiders game, but we all kind of know that things would at least have been different had the officiating against the Eagles been different.
Yeah, because that's the only thing I could think of was the Eagles game, and that was I ain't gonna harp or go back that far, but going forward, how y'all feeling now after watching yesterday? I mean,
no,
like, how you feeling about?
pretty good.
I'm not as off a cliff as everybody as a lot of people are. I think that the 5-5 Raiders coming into this game had a lot to play for, and they've been firing on all cylinders the past couple weeks. So I kind of expected our offense might get a little stifled. I mean, I'm super excited that we continue to improve to a top level on defense. At
Kind
least
of the way
during,
I feel too.
you know,
I'm right there with that. I'm
Mhm.
right there with that. Our defense won the game. Defense was the reason. That's what I said last week. I was talking about this game. I says, don't. You got to show up against these Raiders, bro. They're serious. And I said it was going to be our defense, and sure as shit, there it was. And it was all Ramsey. Well, let's put it together. It was the team, but
They
I'm
closed the
not
deal.
happy. I'm not happy with our offensive output for the past 4 games. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
I
it's been
mean,
inconsistent. That's fair.
yeah.
It has. I pointed it out in the show thing at the
Okay.
top when I was talking about how we
made it
felt as
tough
a
for us
fan
to
base.
compete with even the bad teams sometimes. You know what I mean? So whether you call
Right.
that, you could call that playing down to our opponent. We haven't really shown signs of playing down to our opponents this year, other than maybe in the first quarter of some of these games. But I don't know. I'm really just. I mean,
Yesterday was kind of like the whole game, really, because they
yeah,
had a chance to win in the end with a
yeah. I
score
mean,
and a 2 point conversion.
it kind of reminded me a lot of the Patriots game. Yeah, they had a chance to tie it at the end, but let's be real. They weren't going to do much after that, nor were the Patriots if they got some kind of mysterious fumble recovery that they all thought they should have got. You know what I mean? People still don't realize that wasn't for a touchdown. That was for a first down on a drive where they still only had a minute something left to get down the field. And they had not demonstrated all day thus far that they have been able to do that against our defense. So if they miraculously did it and tied that ball game, I still like our prospects for winning it.
Are you talking about?
Well,
You're
well,
talking about
well, the
yesterday's
Patriots
game,
game,
yeah?
Sanders didn't have his best game, so we would have had to probably score a touchdown in
You're
order
talking
to
about
be
the
more
yesterday's
comfortable.
game where the fumble recovery for a touchdown was called back, yeah? That was a
Yeah, you talking about the defensive score?
yeah. That punch out and yeah, who returned it, and they got called back, and that would have
Right.
hit. We would have already been up 6 right there, and that was I think that was on the Raiders' first drive, if I'm not mistaken. That I don't
Yeah, because it was like
just
3.
making
They ended
sure.
up with a field goal, then
All
a
right.
touchdown. Tyreek scored, and
So
then they
so
scored a
let's say that
touchdown.
doesn't get called back. I feel a little bit better because now we covered the spread basically because that would have made it what 13, 14. That covers the spread,
Mhm.
but regardless, it did get called back. So therefore, I'm just not content with a 6 point win over the Raiders. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Or what? A 6 point win? Yeah, 6 point, 14-20, right? Yeah, I'm not content with that. Like, I'm sorry,
Late in
it's
the
our team,
season, you
so
got to
we're
be
gonna
worried.
always.
Yeah.
Well, right. Well, starting this week, yeah, this week for sure. I mean, Friday. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm
Point
just
spread.
saying,
Vegas
like,
is trying to make money. They, yeah,
true.
Vegas trying to make money.
Well, those
They
spreads
made
get
a lot of
small.
money. They made a lot of money off our game yesterday. I tell you that much.
Oh hell yeah, they did. Well, I wasn't
They
gonna
made a
take
lot of
that.
money
I
back that
wouldn't
they
have
lost
taken that.
the previous 9 weeks. You know,
Right?
they found a way to dupe a lot of people into that 13-point spread.
We
They
all, but as Dolphin fans, y'all know as Dolphins fans not to take that ever. It's hell no. I'm sorry, like that's I'm not sorry,
yeah, I
and I would
question.
never have taken that.
Nah, the Raiders, if they was like 1-9 coming into the game, then yeah, you could say okay, maybe as a point there.
Still wouldn't have taken it. No, hell
Yeah,
no.
it's
Especially the way
dangerous.
they've been playing the past few weeks. Yeah, Antonio Pierce got that team like believing. So I'm gonna say, and you can quote me on this. I'm gonna say Oakland might actually truly make the playoffs even, and Antonio Pierce,
Mm-hmm.
if they do, he could beat out Dan Campbell for his coach of the year if they do. Because even as a villain, the way he is, I mean, I'm
I would
saying
say
is
he's 4 or 5 wins away, even if they don't make the playoffs. Cause that'd be hell of a turnaround. You know,
right. All right,
I mean,
so
it's possible he'd be in competition if he can keep it up. I agree with that.
all right, and now next topic I want to move on forward to is I'm sorry, I know that Tyreek had what 140 something yards.
Wait, what was your question?
Well, he had about 140 yards, right? So like,
Yeah, he did.
think about where he's getting all these yards from, and it's not garbage time yards or anything like that. So we can throw that part out of it. Is he
No,
still a part of the
mostly it's in the
MVP
Florida
race?
game.
Is he
It's in the Florida game.
still part? Is he still in the conversation for MVP?
Yes, he is. As long as he's on track for 2,000, any receiver that can get that will always be in the conversation. So yeah, he's still in it. He's
Is
still in it.
Tua then? Because Tua only had what 250 yards. All his yards again
Yeah.
are to Tyreek. So
I tell you what, if Tua doesn't get it, Tyreek will be the reason why.
mm,
Most of the reason why, because it'll be like he took it because he's doing something so much that other receiver hadn't done. I
all right.
think the magic number is 2,000. I think Tyreek no. I think
Well,
the NFL put a bug in his ear and said, if you get it, you're going to be guaranteed this MVP.
you
That's
know
why he's
what?
so adamant about getting it. So I believe if Tyreek gets it, he's got the MVP for the year.
And you know what? I like to add another twist when you saying if Tua doesn't get the MVP, it's because I Tyreek Hill, and I agree with you because if it is another way, it could be because of Tyreek Hill, is Tua's trying to force it so much to Tyreek Hill that he starts fucking up his numbers, trying to force everything to Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Give him his 2,000
Yeah,
yards.
it takes his efficiency down.
So
where
Tyreek
it'll
could be
take
a
him out of
reason
the
why.
race. Right.
Tyreek could be a reason why Tua doesn't get it.
Yeah, not the fact
And
that Tyreek is going to get the MVP, but for the fact that he's going to try so much to get Tyreek
Get him the
that
ball. His
2,000
target
yards,
increase
you
is
know
going
what
to
I
be
mean?
so high. Well, he ain't got no other choice but to perform. You know.
But at the end of the day, the way I think is the stats are for the name in the back, not the name for the name in the front.
And it's a quarterback stat, so it's a lot for Hill to overcome at the same time. When you think about it, they're gonna always favor quarterback for that award. I don't know why they just don't say most valuable quarterback, and just instead of name it MVP. Exactly.
Right.
Why is it MVP? It should be MVQ, most valuable quarterback, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what?
They should rename the
Ray
award.
Lewis ever won an MVP?
What's that?
Has Ray Lewis ever won an MVP?
Nope.
I don't know. I don't think so.
And
nope.
You know,
it's always offensive.
That defense.
The last non-quarterback to win it was Rice, right?
Yeah.
Rice never even won it.
He didn't. Was
it Rice? He got like player of the year or some shit instead.
You know what I mean?
Damn, who was it? Because Derrick Henry was in it 3 years ago.
Lawrence Taylor, I think.
Yeah.
And defensive player too.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, he
broke the sack record, right?
Yeah. But remember, Derrick Henry just 3 years ago was in the running for MVP when he was like on pace for damn near 2,500 yards.
What was the name of the LaDainian Tomlinson should have won it?
1 year, yeah. That should have been a year. What a running back definitely could have easily won the award because they catching 1,000 yards, rushing for over 1,000.
What's good, AB?
So it'll be true.
How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
What?
Oh, he mean Tua. His agent gonna want more money. He said he'd rather Tua not win the MVP. Interesting for that to come out of him, and because the agent is going to demand more money.
Good point. Because he's on contract year now, right?
I don't know. That's debatable. Well, this agent's going to play a role.
Speaking of
which, the MVP.
All I know is EM
What's up, Cap?
was the MVP of the Tuesday night channels.
Whoa!
Listen, we gotta stop. Listen,
okay,
real quick.
Go ahead, Lewis. Go ahead.
Real quick, because we gotta stop. I'm not saying Tua's going to win the MVP, but Tyreek is not winning the MVP neither. I think it was the last receiver that had 2,000 yards. Wasn't it Calvin Johnson?
Almost.
Well, not only that, next week we play the Jets. Like, you think Sauce is going to get him get 100?
No. Again, let's not get off subject. What I'm saying is the last wide receiver that had 2,000 yards, he didn't get the MVP. Remember Calvin Johnson, the running back?
No, he never got. It
was Johnson, and then that one out in LA, the Rams wide out.
I think the league told Tyreek if he gets 200, he's getting it.
They're not getting it. Stop. Whether we like it or not, it's a quarterback award.
Hey,
we know.
We got a legend in the building. We got a legend in the building.
Yeah, I agree with that. I said that. Yeah,
legend
should be most valuable quarterback,
that shit is
not most
ridiculous.
valuable player.
That shit is ridiculous when I hear, Tyreek Hill's going to win the MVP. He's not, bro. Stop.
No. But Lou, what we were saying is the reason.
Lou, you can't say it's ridiculous now. I mean, he's in the conversation, bro. If he gets 2,000 yards,
he's in the conversation. Yeah,
I didn't say.
Produce versus the
Come on, you can't just say.
I didn't say he wasn't in the conversation, but people are making it seem like he's going to win it, bro. Calvin Johnson got 2,000 yards. He didn't win it.
Calvin Johnson never got 2,000 yards.
Okay,
will be the first.
Who?
Nobody's ever gotten 2,000.
Okay, well, perfect. Well, let me ask you this. Okay, cool. He's going to be the first wide receiver ever. Let me ask you a question. Hasn't there been running backs that's had over 2,000 yards rushing?
Yeah, and they won MVP too. They won MVP as well.
Come on, Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson didn't win MVP.
What's his name? AP Adrian Peterson won MVP.
Okay, AP. Did Chris Johnson win it?
No, no, he didn't win it.
We're saying the opposite though. We're saying the only reason Tua won't get it is because of fact of he's going to be forcing it to Tyreek.
Well, I don't. Well, see, and this is where I have again. You know, it's hard to kind of try to defend Tua today because whether you think he played a good game, bad game, or whatever, that's fine. I'm not here to debate that. My problem is if let's say Stephon Diggs, for instance, right, was getting close to 2,000 yards or he was getting mentioned. No one's talking about Stephon Diggs being the MVP. It would be Josh Allen because
Jalen Hurts beats Mahomes tonight. He's back in MVP contention.
Can I finish my point? Can I finish my point, please?
Hell no, get him, Cap. Put your foot on his neck.
The fact of the matter is,
lose up and down, bro.
No, it's not. I'm down.
Get him, Cap. Get him, Cap.
You're a little bit too up and down, bro. Like
get him, Cap.
It's either we're in MVP contention or we're not. One of us has to be in contention. Like we just can't have two guys not be in contention. Because if not, then we're really frauds.
Right, and the problem is the contention. Well, no, let me turn up. The contention is fucking Tua because how many times has fucking Tyreek thrown a pass to himself and ran up on it and fucking caught it? He hasn't. The fact of the matter is, if this was happening in Buffalo, no one would say Stephon Diggs was the MVP. They would be talking about how electric Josh Allen's arm is and what a quarterback he is. The problem is we got a bunch of fucking haters in this goddamn fan base, and now all of a sudden we make it seem like Tua's not throwing the fucking passes. It's gonna be Tua or nobody else. How about that? I'm not saying Tua's going to win it.
All right, let me give you this extreme.
Wait, hang on. You got to consider. You got to consider, right? Again, I'm not saying 100% Tyreek is going to win it, but you got to consider, okay, if Tyreek Hill gets 2,000 yards, right, he achieves that, he's had an historically great season. He's on a winning team, right? He's a major contributor to that winning team. Now, you compare his resume in 2023, what other quarterback is Tua going to have a historic season? Is Patrick Mahomes going to have a historically good statistical season? So you got to take that into account, bro. He's on a historic pace. Nobody else is in the league, bro. Nobody at receiver, nobody at running back, nobody at quarterback.
Okay, cool.
So you got to take that into account.
Again, I just want to know, maybe I'm off. Maybe I ain't watching the right shows. You watch NFL Live. You watch FS1. Hold on. You watch NFL Live on ESPN. You watch any show on ESPN. You watch any show on FS1. Are they talking about? See, the only people talking about MVP and Tyreek is us. We're the only ones bringing that shit up. Ain't nobody else in the mainstream media talking about Tyreek Hill being the MVP.
Bro, obviously you hadn't been watching. Obviously you have not been paying attention.
Who's saying it?
Bro, they were just talking about that on First Take 2 days ago. What are you talking about?
I'll drop links for you, bro. He's all over the place about MVP.
What are you talking about?
Kurt Warner mentioned Tyreek Hill as one of him, and Tua.
Okay.
That's his top five.
Bet.
Kurt Warner mentioned
like I said, I want to see.
Think he has a vote too.
I'm willing to make a friendly wager on with anybody here that Tyreek Hill don't win MVP.
I am here telling you, right? That's why. Listen, Adrian Peterson, that historic year that he had in Minnesota, right? Again, I think him and Peyton Manning were the top two guys. Peyton Manning had a good year, an EVP worthy year, but he did not have a historic season that year.
I'm done using my mouth. I'm ready to pull out pockets. I'm willing to make a friendly wager to everybody up here that wants to oblige. Put your money where your mouth is.
My point, I told you.
I'm not more saying likely he will win it. Nobody's saying he will win it. They just saying he's in the conversation.
Again, and again, I'm just addressing you because you acting like he's not in the conversation. You acting like you just easily dismissive of the idea of Tyreek Hill even being mentioned in that MVP race. No, bro, that's not the case. You out of your mind if you think he's not going to be at least considered.
Yeah, 2000 will be the first receiver to break.
Yeah, bro. If he can manage to get 100 yards on each game versus Sauce and get 2,000, you got to put him up there, Luke.
Again, is this thing on? I'm not saying that he's not
going
to be mentioned. So what he's not going to do is win it. That's what's not going to happen.
Well, who said he was going to win it? Who said he was going to win it?
You know what? You know what? You right. You right.
I'm just asking a question. I didn't hear anybody say he was going to defend 100% win it. I didn't hear anyone say that.
So I'll tell you right now, who's the top leader right now in the MVP racing right now? I mean, do you have Jalen Hurts up there above
Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill is the MVP leader right now. Tyreek
Hill. It's still Mahomes. It's Mahomes. It's Hurts.
But what if Mahomes falls to Jalen tonight?
If he falls to Jalen, then Jalen might go ahead of him slightly. But
I can't believe we don't
this
see
will be the first time a wide receiver would be
CJ Stroud, man. They're talking about
wow.
CJ Stroud right now. He even leads
like
two in
CJ,
yardage.
man, but if the
that Washington quarterback,
if they get past the Jags, then you got to consider it. And the Jags are not all there yet.
So the Washington quarterback is so Sam Howell is the MVP
leads the league in passing.
He screwed the pooch yesterday. Barkley outdid him.
He still has more yardage. He has more yardage than anybody. CJ Stroud is number 2.
Oh, really? With 3 interceptions? That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Nah, listen.
They still are.
Tua, I think any quarterback, not just Tua. I mean, you're gonna have to finish like number 1 and virtually. I think it's again, Lewis. I think you just not. I think the possibility of Tyreek Hill being MVP is a lot bigger than what you think, than what you realize. If he achieves that 2,000-yard stat, because bro, historic seasons, man, offensively, when you talk about MVP, man, that warrants a lot of attention, bro. And he's again, like I said, bro, he's a major contributor to what we do. Like some people say, he's they want to give all of the credit to Tyreek Hill because the offense is where it is. I don't subscribe to that, but hey, man, I think you need to rethink that and kind of sit down and take a deep breath and just reevaluate, because I'm telling you, he gets 2,000 yards, bro. First time ever been done at that position.
Yeah,
he is gonna get a lot of attention, a lot of consideration.
The flaw to it is because it's 17 games, not 16, but it's still an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah, but if he eclipses it by week 16, by the 16th game.
Oh, that's a great point, too. If he does it by week 16 with a week left.
With 1 week to go, yeah.
So.
I get it.
Man.
I get it.
You kind of took my argument out of my mouth.
What we're doing here.
Lou, what if it was 2,000 plus?
People can finish. People can say what they want to say. What is happening here, again, is we're trying to diminish what Tua Tagovailoa is doing on the field.
No, who's doing that?
Okay. Again,
not necessarily because who's the guy throwing him the ball?
I know.
I think we're really trying to. I mean, for me, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think I'm giving him credit
doing
for
all
throwing
the work.
ball.
And there was Zach Wilson
Tyreek gets
throwing
2,000.
the ball. Would Zach Wilson be in the conversation?
Hey, what was the year that Justin Jefferson? What was the year that Justin Jefferson had almost like 1,900? Didn't he get over like 1,900 one year?
That was last year. That was last year.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins won in the conversation, was he?
Again, was what's his name? Was what's his name?
Justin Who was
Jefferson?
That?
Was he mentioned in the MVP conversation?
No.
Well, let me put it to you like this, Lou. Let's put it like this.
Was Justin Jefferson
a finalist? Yes.
Okay, so he was a finalist. So Tyreek can be a finalist.
He was a
finalist.
Did
he get to 2,000? Did he get to 2,000? Did he get to 2,000?
Let me ask you this, Lou. What happens if we get to week 14, 13, and God forbid we get an injury at quarterback, but Tyreek still manages to get 2,000?
Hey, no, y'all got it. Tyreek Hill is going to be MVP. He's going to be MVP. You guys got it.
I'm just saying, if Tua can't play out the full season, which God forbid he does play the full season,
last year,
Tyreek manages to get 2,000 plus. Like, what do we do?
So last year's Tua was better than this year's Tua.
Man, Jerry Rice was the only reason I watched any other games besides the Miami Dolphins, and that motherfucker didn't make MVP. I don't know how a wide receiver is going to do it.
It's simple. He never got to 2,000 yards. It's simple. He never got to 2,000 yards.
But in that paradigm,
fact check that, please.
In that paradigm, though, was anybody going to get 2,000 yards?
Again, this whole conversation is about if Tyreek Hill gets 2,000 yards. If he is historic this year, he should warrant. Again, and you compare his season to all the other candidates, right? Is anybody else in the realm of historic? Right? Is anybody else having a historic season?
No.
Nobody is.
I agree with you the way I feel about him. I'm just thinking of the perspective of the voters and how they're always get their panties in a wad over the stupid.
And again, that's why Adrian Peterson got the nod with his historic at that time, his historic season, because nobody else, right? I think Peyton Manning was number 2 behind him in the voting, and nobody else had they had good seasons, but they did not have, anything close to the, having a historic season like he did that year.
At the same time, Ian, there's been a couple fullbacks over the history of the NFL get it. Not even a wide receiver. Like, I don't understand, man.
Well, we're talking about the 70s, though.
The only thing I could think of, the only thing I can think of that would actually hurt in a vote,
Larry Zucker may have been in consideration.
Just our own team alone, would just be the fact that 48 or 42% of Tua's passes go to Tyreek. So therefore, kind of make him to like what he is. I mean, seriously,
it finally came out. You see what didn't I just say that 2 minutes ago? And again, they just proved it. I just said it 2 minutes ago, and people said, "No, that's not what we're doing up here." Did you hear that, Ian? Did you hear
what?
That? Did you just hear what came out the man's mouth?
No, I didn't. For real, I didn't.
Okay.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't. What did he say? What did he say?
He said
that Tyreek Hill is making Tua Tagovailoa.
No, well, I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to that.
42% of his completion, or 48% go to him.
I just got one question for you, Daniel, and then I'm going to leave this conversation alone because I've already proved my point for all the damn idiots on the panel and on the chat. Daniel, I just got one question. Why didn't Tyreek Hill make Patrick Mahomes? Because Tyreek Hill played in Kansas City for 6 fucking seasons and was never putting up the numbers that he has in Miami. But why didn't he make Patrick Mahomes?
He wasn't close to 2,000 yards, Lou.
His most yardage was last season. That was like 1,700.
Patrick Ewing got those MVPs because he distributed the balls and he was having 5,000-yard seasons. But not one of those receivers having
so Patrick Mahomes wasn't on
2,000 yards.
Patrick Mahomes was distributing the ball. He wasn't just throwing to Kelsey and Tyreek. That's what you're telling me?
It was more of a better ball distribution over his 5,000 yards. Is why he was getting MVP.
I know.
Versus being concentrated at a higher percentage to one player, allowing that one player to become a part of the conversation.
So Tyreek
was never part of the conversation when Patrick Mahomes was throwing to him.
Make sure what I'm hearing is correct. That
no. What we're saying is
Tua would not be shit.
No, Daniel said that. No, Daniel said that.
No, Tua would still be. Tua would still be Tua.
We'll give you an argument where the bias will come in at with the voters. They will be looking at stuff like that. That's what a bias of the people that vote for MVP will be looking at on whether or not to give it to a quarterback versus a receiver that'll get a higher percentage of distribution on the passes caught and him having a historic season.
You could actually, like Crypto's always preaching this, is that you can assign percentages. So let's Daniel had said a second ago that something like 42 of his passes go to Tyreek. So you could even be fair if you wanted to start there. Is it 45% Tyreek and 65% or 55% Tua? Is it the other way around? You know what I mean?
It's his first read.
I doubt. Wait, hold on. What I'm saying is, I doubt that either Tyreek could get 2,000 yards with another quarterback, and likewise, I doubt that Tua could have a 2,000-yard receiver other than Tyreek Hill.
Waddle could probably do it.
Like both could be true. You see what I'm saying?
But that's only because we got the luxury of both Hill and Waddle. So I mean,
Well,
that's
maybe.
the luxury.
I'm just saying that I think it's more of a
Yeah,
shared
the
percentage.
people that
Like,
vote for MVP might
how
be
much of
holding that
those
against Tua.
2,000 yards are because Tua does what he does in this system? You know what I mean? If for those
It's
that don't, there's
think
those
about
that you have
think
to
about
really
this though. The
make them be
reason
happy about Tua. So, I
the,
stress
the
in this
reason
system.
the reason Tyreek could possibly get 2,000 is because of Waddle, is because of Tua, because it's a three-headed monster,
But
bro.
likewise, on the same token, Tua has a 2,000-yard receiver at that point because of Tyreek. It's not like many other receivers could fit that role.
Well, I got a quick question.
Tua, you know what I mean?
What was DK Metcalf's final numbers last year receiving when you did your receiving thing, Color?
He was, oh gosh, I want to say 17th range, maybe a little higher, maybe lower. I know Tyler Lockett was 11th, and he was behind Tyler Lockett.
How many catches? How many catches last year did Tyreek Hill have?
112, I think.
100.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go 112.
I'm sorry to interrupt this,
and that they can come off guard.
Check this out. I just got this message from Nene. Right, I just got this message from Nene, and I thought it was pretty cool. I'm sorry I had to do it, but look what she copped today, man. Look what she got today in the mail.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right.
You're gonna be tasting so much better from here on out. My God.
Really?
Well, the only reason
That's real cute.
The only reason I brought up the catches for Tyreek Hill, because let's do an exercise, right? Color likes to do these exercises. I think I enjoy these exercises too, because everybody is wondering, Tyreek is on this historical pace. He's doing this, and he's making Tua. Okay, cool. EM brought up the 112. Well, hold on. Let me finish.
Nobody said he's. I didn't. I want to be clear. I never said he's making Tua.
Okay, bet. I didn't say you. I'm just saying let's do this exercise. Right? Okay. Tyreek Hill had 112 catches last year for what? A little bit over 1,800 yards?
17 and change, yeah.
Okay, 17 and change. Waddle last year had 1,300 yards on 77 catches. Now let's add Waddle's 20-yard average last year that he averaged, right? And give him another 77 to 112. What's that? Like 33, 34 catches, something like that?
40.
Okay, 40. Now, how many yards does motherfucking Waddle have last year? How many yards? If he had 77 catches and 1,300 yards, how many yards does Waddle have?
I think he had about 1,300 and Hill had about 1,700, something like that.
No, I think Waddle had a little like 1,300. But I'm just saying.
Let me explain it this way, as I always have, Lewis, since I did that work, right? Waddle was 33rd ranked in receptions per game, yet he finished 10th, yet he was 8th in number of touchdowns. I think 8th in yards per catch, in yardage.
No, he led the league in yards per catch.
Okay, you're right. You're correct. You're correct, Ian. And then overall, on my particular 9 metrics, finished 10th in overall production. Yet he had the 33rd ranked number of receptions per game and the 25th overall number of receptions last year. That's efficiency. That's real deal, doing everything you get in every blade of grass you can with the football in your hands.
What are you trying to say other than the fact that we know Waddle's a badass?
He did a lot more on a lot less receptions. And so what Lewis is saying, you add even 20 more receptions, and what's that? 1,300 yards.
I mean, listen.
Just to prove everybody,
year.
just to prove the narrative that what Tyreek makes Tua. No, it's not the case. Because how Tyreek is, and he's a godsend to this football team. Tua is making Tyreek Hill more than Tyreek Hill is making Tua Tagovailoa. That's the point. The point is, it's not Tyreek doing up. What do you mean?
We established that. We established that because we already talked about. We already went through. Because we just compared.
I think we're going to the extremes on both sides.
To Mahomes, we just compared Tua to Mahomes. We were just saying, like, Hill hasn't had as many yards since he never had this many yards with Casey. And
but I thought Patrick Mahomes was the better quarterback than Tua. So how does that work?
Did he get the targets though? Did he get the targets in Kansas City like he has in his 2 years in Miami?
No,
a couple times, but not overall.
42%. 42% of his passes are to Hill. 42%. That's ridiculous. That's half your damn offense is through Hill.
Well, I've always said that that is way too much imbalance for me, right? Again, I understand why. Tyreek Hill is the most dynamic weapon in the league, so I get why he gets the the respect and the command that he does. But where I've been critical of McDaniel, I've said this going back to last year, man. You gotta, to be the best version of yourself offensively, you got that. A lot of those, man, 40. I didn't realize it was that much. I knew it was high, but not crazy. That damn much. That is, bro. That is crazy.
I was listening to a different podcast. I don't even want to throw it out there, but I'm going to say this much. It was compared. It said Duper and Clayton split 42. They were like 21% each. So think about it. Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to point out about about those receptions per game, it may be my opinion, but after having done real objective work and crunching the numbers, it is this man's opinion, color commentary, that Jalen Waddle, if you were to ask me to rank the receivers last year in just efficiency, how much they do with their opportunities, Jalen Waddle is the number one wide receiver in the NFL last year in efficiency.
I definitely would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, shit. Then we got number one and number two.
At what point does Waddle put his foot down?
And we're not just talking about 6-yard passes where he makes something out of it. We're talking about top and air yards too.
At what point does Waddle put his foot down and say, "Hey, what about me?"
Thought about that.
At what point
he was trying to make a case yesterday when Tyreek went to the sideline for a minute? Yeah, he was trying to make his case, man. He started balling.
Yeah, what about me? I'm
still that game yesterday.
Because Waddle, Waddle's been historically good for his. He set the rookie season in catches, I think, in his first as a rookie, right?
Yeah.
Waddle's man, but I understand. Yeah, it's kind of again, it's kind of
apparent,
Yeah. But Tyreek, though, man, he's so dynamic, bro. It's like, and you can't knock Tua for going to him now 42%. Well,
first read, bro.
But if it's open, I mean, every quarterback is taught to go to if the first read is open, right? You take it. And it's not his fault that Tyreek Hill gets open at such an alarming rate, bro. It's like, so you can't, on one hand, you can't blame him, but I think for the Dolphins to truly maximize their overall potential as an offense, as a whole, as a collective, that number, that percentage is going to have to come down, and those targets need to be spread around, other aspects of the offense.
Now that I'm remembering last year, or early in the offseason, it was this very conversation and debate that inspired me to do the quarterback and receiver production list in the first place. Remember, we were trying to determine just who is it, a good quarterback or a good wide receiver, and we found out the answer.
You still have that?
Yeah. You sure, absolutely, and we found out the answer per quarterback and receiver tandem. For instance,
that's why I asked you about Metcalf and Lockett.
Right.
Smith was a finalist in the MVP.
Right. Well, for instance, Justin Herbert was in the top 10, right? Yet his receivers, his best receiver in production was Keenan Allen at 25th. Mike Williams at 27th, and Josh Palmer at 35th. But he also had 3 receivers on the list of 42. By the way, the qualification was at least 60 receptions on the year. And there was only 42 receivers last year that attained 60 receptions, believe it or not. KJ Osborne being the lowest one.
And we're all going like, who?
Oh. Yeah.
And as such, he was down by the bottom of the list. But ironically, Waddle ranked 33rd. He ranked outside of 32 receivers in number of receptions per game, yet still was able to achieve top 10 in production. He was 10th, in fact.
And the efficiency ratings.
Okay. I would say Waddle's production.
Well, real quick, Daniel. I factored 9. I factored 9 metrics.
As being a part of that conversation.
And Daniel, I factored 9 metrics that I thought. Obviously, this is the part that's subjective. The 9 metrics that I thought spoke to production specifically. And I thought that being 9 of them, that's enough of a sample size that you're talking about.
Plenty.
Not much changing if I take one away or add one more, right? So,
no.
So if we agree, if people accept the subjective framework of the 9 criteria I chose, then what I did was I objectively took the averages of each player and what they ranked in each of those categories, and average those ranks, and that gave me my final rank.
So just to kind of get a sample size of your rankings and what you use to, put that criteria together. I assume things like
hold on. I was gonna say to Bill's fake crowd noise. Yes, we was only adding that Justin Jefferson was a wide receiver that was a finalist for MVP last year.
All right. I was on the fence about completion percentage, but when I thought, okay, at a 60 reception sample size, completion percentage should play. That should speak to production. If you have a lower completion percentage and roughly a similar number of receptions as everybody else, you're being less productive, for example. You know what I mean?
So we're saying 60 catches.
Right. And here's a case where Deebo Samuel didn't even make the cut. He had 42 receptions on the year.
Oh, wow. And you're talking about Yak?
I think one of them was Yak, I believe. Yeah. Then you had I had completion percentage. I had number of receptions.
First downs and touchdowns in there? First downs and touchdowns?
I did touchdowns, and I believe I did first downs. I don't have the computer fired up that I got the notes on right at the moment, but it's those types of stats. Yeah.
All I care about is targets, catches,
yards per game, yards total. And I only did receptions. I didn't do targets because, look, if you're on a bad team with a bad receiver, that bad receiver could get targeted a zillion times. You know what I mean? And it doesn't really speak to his production, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. If I'd have added it, if I would have, right? But that's why I put in receptions, but I didn't necessarily. I left out targets. You know what I mean? Because I figured the completion percentage would still capture that. You know what I mean?
Pretty much. Okay.
So there again, if I added that,
you're catching 2 out of 3. You're catching 2 out of 3, no matter what.
And look, if I would have added that as a 10th criteria, I doubt that the numbers would have changed much. You might have had a couple shifts of position here and there throughout the list, but it would not have affected much to what the exercise.
Where did you have Waddle finish? You said he was top 10 or number 10? Number
exactly
10.
Yeah,
he was 10. Yeah.
Hey, do you still have that list? I want to know who was above him then.
Who was what?
Who was ahead of him? Who was ahead of
I can
Waddle?
give you some notable. I can give you some notables off the top of my head.
Was Hill ahead of him?
Hold on. I can give you some notables off the top of my head. Some notables off the top of my head. Jamar Chase was 9th. The number 1 receiver overall was Justin Jefferson, followed by Tyreek Hill at 2nd, and Stephon Diggs at 3rd. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 4th, which is also where his quarterback ended up on the production list, ironically. You know, and that's why we did this exercise, because we were having this very same debate about who makes who, the receiver or the quarterback, or vice versa. You know what I mean? So this is precisely why I formulated both of these production lists.
So we have our MVP debate. We all think, if I'm not mistaken, we all on the same page. Tua over
Tua was tied for
MVP.
Tua was tied for 9th with Kirk Cousins. Exactly the same average of ranks.
Oh, that's interesting.
What's ironic is Tua was more in the MVP league last year than it was this year.
And Kirk Cousins wasn't even mentioned. Kirk Cousins wasn't even mentioned. So it was all Justin Jefferson, apparently. You know what I mean?
And that was by week 8, and now we're in week 11. And now there ain't no what's his name in Minnesota?
Right.
So now look, where does Tua stand right now?
By the way, remember, Tua was ranked 9th, tied 9th with so effectively 10th with Kirk Cousins, right? But you got to keep in mind, you're right. You got to keep in mind, he only had a 13-game sample size, and one of the criteria that I factored in, a couple of the criteria that I factor in would have inherently given him a higher rank in each of those categories just from having played more games. So he likely, just from having shown up at 3 more games, even if we would have lost all those games, it still would have put him higher than the top 10. He would have been right around 6th or 7th.
Okay.
Because one of the criteria is completions, number of completions. So obviously, if he's got 3 more games, he's going to rise in that rank, and that's going to affect his average rank, which ended up being 9th.
Where right now, if we were looking at today, before the game that's about to get started, or probably already started.
I guess Mahomes just helped this situation because he just threw a touchdown. So
this is why I've come a little around more to the middle of the table on Tua being above average quarterback.
Oh, he's definitely above average. But here's my question: he ain't no Zach, that's for sure. What do we have for rankings right now? Where does Tua rank across the league in statistics for a quarterback?
God, I would love, if I had the time, bro, and the energy, I would do.
I think he's number 1, number 2 in everything.
I would do the same exercise I did in the off season, mid-season right now, if I had the energy for it, bro. It would really be interesting.
He's number 1, number 2 in everything.
It would be interesting to see where everybody's at mid-season, though. You know,
he's number 1, number 2.
By the way, Daniel, one of the interesting, because I did a show on when I presented the results to everybody. I did one for the quarterbacks, and then I did one for the receivers. But one of the interesting things we all found out was, first of all, Patrick Mahomes, his first receiver on the list of production was Juju Smith-Schuster at 21st. He had no other receivers be higher than 21st, right?
That's just stupid.
And here's the thing, though. So the audience was like, "Yeah, well, that's because of Kelsey," and I acknowledge that. I'm not trying to form anybody's opinion. What I'm trying to say
was my first thought, though. That was my first thought.
Right. But here's what I was trying to do. Right. I picked a subjective framework. We all agreed on it. I did the objective. I did the objective analysis inside that subjective framework, so we could garner some information, not so I could try to prove anything to anybody. So if you say, "Yeah, it's Kelsey," that's correct. That's a great opinion, and that's a great valid point. You know what I mean? So what I did that night on the show, because I was curious, I'm like, "Wow, let's find out how much Kelsey it really is Kelsey," right? So I went ahead quickly, because it was only 9 to do and it was only 1 player. So I
bet he only gets 5 targets a game.
So I quickly went through that night on the show live and factored out what Kelsey's rank would be if his designation was WR, right? Last year. So I measured him on the same 9 numbers that I did to all the other wide receivers. And he finished 7th in production as a wide receiver in comparison to wide receivers.
Oh.
So Patrick Mahomes did have a top 10 receiver. It just wasn't a wide receiver.
Yeah, he did.
That's a scary thought for having a tight end that could do that.
10.
Right, exactly.
What gets us lost, and when we start comparing Mahomes to anybody, is that Mahomes only had one top 10 receiver, where 3 quarterbacks had two top 10 receivers.
Now,
Dak Prescott, Tua, and Jalen Hurts. They had two top 10 receivers.
You're right. And I would suspect if I were to retro apply this, I'll call it an algorithm just for the sake of what we're talking about. If I were to retro apply it to the season before Tyreek left Kansas City, I'd be interested to find out where in the top 10 both him and Kelsey land. Because with Tyreek's first year here, he landed second, Waddle landed 10th. Well, Kelsey was 7th this year, so we could assume that's probably right around where he sits every year. You know what I mean? And so, where would Tyreek be in relation to Kelsey out at Kansas City, as opposed to in relation to Waddle over in Miami? Tyreek was second, Waddle was 10th.
Whoa.
Tyreek.
Let's do something here. You want to write this down so you don't.
Tyreek will still probably be top 10.
Write this down so you don't forget, because I want you to do this for me. Would you mind?
Mahomes' numbers would be even more greater.
Yeah, give me just a second, Dan.
Watch this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, watch this one. All right, my thoughts are this. When Tyreek was in KC with Kelsey and Mahomes, what was their ratings?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'd love to go back and look, because are you talking about 3rd and 7th as opposed to 2nd and 10th? Are you talking about 1st and 7th? Are you talking about?
Just keep it simple. Just on the season.
No. I'm tired. I'm speaking about the results. Like, would we see 7th and 8th, or would we see 2?
Where they fall.
Whereas Tyreek over here was 2nd and Waddle was 10th. So what would it be there? Kelsey was 7th this year. What would Tyreek have been? 1st, 3rd,
6th? I say 6, 6 and 7.
And that's where you can really find out where the difference is, and whether Tua or Patrick is doing whatever for Tyreek. That's where you can see the
difference. That's where we're gonna. That's why I just asked the questions.
Well, you can't
figure it out.
Remember, it was this very debate 9 months ago that sparked my interest, that inspired me to do this whole exercise in the first place. So we could just see, like, who affects who, you know what I mean, and when and where and under what context,
well,
you know what I mean.
One of them does off script more, so you could say his improvisation and buying more time for Tyreek will cause Tyreek to get more yardage and add to Tyreek's production more, on the yardage downfield. And then one versus one that's not as standing there.
There was a question of whether Tyreek helped Waddle's numbers. Well, we know since Kelsey finished 7th among wide receivers without Tyreek there, then Tyreek wasn't helping Kelsey's numbers.
Well,
no, right,
so
exactly. He wasn't, because he finished 7th on his own without him.
What about yards?
It wasn't the gravity effect that I preach all the time with Tyreek.
Right. So why is it that Tyreek's presence is what is responsible for Waddle's production, but not Kelsey's over in Kansas City?
No, because Waddle and Tua was together without Tyreek, and that sample size was already displayed.
I got you.
But hold up. You also got to take in consideration, like, where do you start with the ball? Because we know with our things, like, I mean, we've been in some bad ways. And
see, I would have to actually counterbalance that. I would have to, when I do the figurings, I would have to say,
there's no way you can get the numbers.
It would be a negative average. It would be like, okay, if you're ranked low in that number, then I should give you more points for that. You know what I mean? Because you started more from the 10-yard line. You know what I mean?
So there's no way we're ever going to really know the facts.
I guess you could go by time of possession.
I'm just gonna say, like, I'm just glad you even tried working all that out.
Again, like, and Crypto just pointed out that's going. again, I could have got more granular. I could have got less granular. But I think that if everybody understands the subjective framework, but if everybody understands the subjective framework that I chose and we all operate inside that agreed framework, then we can actually get objective information out of that.
Yeah.
All right.
You see what I'm saying?
So we're saying, so
like,
I
know it's subjective. I know it's subjective, bro. You know,
Tua makes Tyreek. That's what we're saying, right?
I honestly think it's fair to
Tyreek
say
has a more established career because he did it without Tua when he had 160 yards with Teddy Bridgewater and Skyler throwing it to him. So no, that's been emphatically debunked.
That's true too. I forgot
about that.
Game by game.
With our own team and our own backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, game by game, Crypto is right.
So yeah,
no. Hold up, because Tyreek made Teddy Two Fingers and freaking Skylar Thompson made them look good. But Tua is the one that actually he's the chosen one. He's the one who puts that ball out there. And he shows up every game.
I'm saying, but
Tua is the patrician. Tua is the patrician, and Skyler's the.
We all know nobody
Let's be
makes
real.
Tyreek.
That's what it is, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
Skyler will never be a patrician. It just is what it is, man. You know.
Yeah, Tyreek did it with so many different quarterbacks at this level that he's debunked the narrative that any quarterback makes him.
I think you're right, and that puts Tyreek back in the MVP conversation.
Exactly, that puts him back into it.
Right. It really does. Like there ain't no like seriously. Like if Justin Jefferson went somewhere else, he could do it. Justin Jefferson can be MVP as well.
Yeah, because his route running would get him enough space to make plays.
But JJ, it ain't no Tyreek Hill, bro. That's the fucking cheetah. That's the rocket.
It's only so much running you can do. You know.
You better call Lou up and just explain to him, like, yo, we just established this. Just like, we just figured it out. It's true. This is what we got. This is what we came down to. We think Tyreek Hill is actually.
The Chiefs
as a matter of fact,
Eagles.
Just to mess with him. Just to mess with Lou next time you talk to him, just tell him, yeah, we established that Tyreek is the MVP of the league and makes Tua look good. Just feel that. I think it'll be funny. Yeah, I want to be there for that, but I probably won't be able to. But in any event, I'm glad I can make it tonight, and I know I came in late, and now we're running.
We're gonna be wrapping it up. Any final
almost
thoughts?
3 hours here.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? I got thoughts. Happy Thanksgiving to all.
If you can make it at 3 a.m, we're gonna be doing a special edition of the Insomnia Show where we're gonna me and Shake Money making our picks for the upcoming week. We're gonna be 2 a.m. It's the Insomnia edition of the current
Eastern, our time.
We're gonna go live. We do a pick'em show every Thursday. We drop a video every Thursday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning or Friday, depending when we record it. And this Thursday we're gonna do a Thanksgiving episode at 2 o'clock in the morning.
So what's the plan?
Yep, we're gonna do a Thanksgiving episode. Yep.
Well, no, what's the plan? What's the plan?
So like, get your turkey ready to be basting, and the stuffing and the cranberry sauce. Get it all ready and set it aside.
You doing 3-legged birds? What are we doing? 4-legged birds? What's up?
You can do a 12-legged bird. All I care. Hey, do as many legs as you want.
So all I want is underneath that bird is more W's and a Super Bowl. That's all I need. That's all I want all year round. Because right now, let me explain this to you. Because we're about to be finished, right? All right. So we are facing Jets, Commanders. We got Texans. Oof.
Yeah, Monday night.
I'm sorry, but we are not walking in the park for the last 7 games of the season here, followed by Jets again. And we got what, Cowboys?
Oh God, Kenneth Gainwell. Yeah, go ahead.
We got Jets, Skins or Texans or whatever they are, the Commanders. Texans, Jets again, Cowboys. Who we wrapping up with?
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
No. Right before Buffalo. Right before Buffalo.
Ravens,
Baltimore.
Ravens, then Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore dinner. Yeah, that's right.
Then the Bills to close. All right. So the hardest stretch of the season is upon us. I'm gonna call it right now. 3-3. Okay. I do not see it. I'm sorry, unless the Fins show me something different, bro. I mean, I'm a diehard, and I feel like I'm about to die hard. So that says
whoever was playing Swift in a fantasy, they just scored.
We're 10-6. We're 10-6, 10-7, 11-6, 11 and whatever. We're finishing out the season. I'm saying we're losing 3 more games, unless they can show me something different. Because that way we showed up against the Raiders, that ain't gonna get her done. I don't see it, bro. And I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but the only way we're gonna do anything is gonna be the defense. That's the only way we could do something. And I'm glad to see Fangio's turned the team around, made sure things are looking a little bit better. I'm still not convinced because those teams we're about to play. I don't care how much of scrubs the Jets are. I don't care how much of scrubs the Washington is. That's it. Everything else is fucking. Those are all playoff teams we're facing at the end of the season here, and not only playoff teams, conference champions even. There goes Dallas, Baltimore, in Buffalo could still take it. Well, they might not get conference, but they could still take it from us from a division standpoint. And if the Jets put a freaking monkey wrench in us, I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking break my phone and smash all kinds of stupid shit. Probably a car. Hopefully, you didn't park near me.
Mansa, that didn't happen. I heard a lot of that yesterday. We were 3-3 on the turnover. We never lost the turnover battle yesterday. I heard a lot of that narrative yesterday. We didn't lose the turnover battle yesterday. It was 3-3.
What's his name on FS1? The one dude, the white dude on FS1.
Can you be more specific?
Skip
There's
Bayless?
A lot of white dudes on FS1.
Skip.
You're talking about Skip Bayless.
The wrong one. Shake the wrong one.
Skippity dippity doo.
I know you're talking about
Skippity dump. Skippity dump guy. Yeah. That motherfucker. He said today that the hardest place to play right now is Miami. To go to Miami. I agree. I concur. I concur wholeheartedly.
Philadelphia is by far the hardest place to play right now.
I say Philly or KC.
Yeah, KC is
the hardest
close second with KC. Sure.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we really can't like include ourselves in that conversation yet because
that's why I said what he's talking about.
Hold on, we're not being fair to ourselves if we do because we have not been able to test ourselves against a really stout football team, one of these upper teams at Hard Rock yet. So we can't know whether Hard Rock will be a tough place to really play or not. We know it is for the bad team.
Nah, it's a vacation town still, bro. Everybody comes down here.
We know that it was hard for Buffalo to play there early in the season last year. Obviously, we beat them there. So, there's that.
Sun Rock. It's not the Hard
Rock.
But
man, Philly is tough to overcome right now. Man, they are rocking.
My man, Mike
something.
Hey, by the way, Crypto.
Go ahead, Jake.
I'm adding up our yearly record. I'm not gonna say it now until I'm gonna of course announce the yearly our record thus far on the episode. But I'm adding it up right now. But as of now, You and TD are tied at 7-5. I'm 5-7. So depending on who wins, if the Eagles win, you'll be 8-5, and TD will win. Well, you right now you're tied with TD. So depending on who wins, if Chiefs
this
win,
is the tiebreaker. This is more.
I think, hey, Shake,
Chiefs
Shake.
win,
I think
TD's going
TD will
down.
win. If Eagles win, you would win.
Shake. I think I'm 7-5. I think I'm 7-5 on the week 2 right now.
Man, that means TD is going neck and neck. Oh shit! I'm gonna have to troll him now.
I want to know what
I'm gonna go troll him now.
Shake, you guys are using the pig. You guys are using the pigskin pick'em, right?
No, we
just did. I started a league on my own with that.
You just counting it. You just counting it yourself, Shake.
Yeah, what we do is I do is as we're picking the teams, I'm putting it in a text and sending Crypto the text so we have receipts.
Okay. So Crypto said he did a pigskin pick'em. I'm curious to know what ESPN is telling you your winning percentage right now is, Crypto. Like, because you make your predictions based on a lot of really highly subjective stuff, dude. So I'm curious to know how high your percentage is, bro. Like, I bet it's pretty high, even though you tend to be a little subjective. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it sounded like 66%.
It's up close to.
I mean, you factor in all the intangibles, is what I'm saying. So I'm curious to know how your percentage is. I'm at 7. Right. I'm at like 78% on the season right now. Which, if you asked any like media analyst, they'd be getting jobs with that resume. You know what I mean? Like,
I believe it. Right. I believe it. All right, fellas.
All right,
man. Are you shutting down?
All right, man.
So I just want to say thank you for having me, and I look forward to the next opportunity.
You stepped in the oven and took the fire, man. You got a little cooked by Lewis, but I think you're still good for wearers, bro.
Yeah. Still good, yeah. you're returnable.
Well, I appreciate that.
If Pete is returnable,
you're always welcome, man.
I tell you what, then you are definitely Hey, listen, if Pete and Fred are returnable, you qualify. You overqualify.
I appreciate y'all. Right. See you on the next episode. When I don't know. I just keep on whenever I get a pop up, I check it out.
What day is it? Tuesday? Today, Monday.
Monday.
We got TMI Tuesday tomorrow night at 9:30
tomorrow night.
I watch a lot of podcasts, man. So what time is it usually when you all are trying to drop? So that way I can like kind of mark it out.
Right. Well, it depends on the night, but on Tuesdays we do an off-topic show at 9:30. We usually go like around 9-10 o'clock. Shake Money does the drive time and the smoke lounge twice a week at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, but Wednesday we don't open up the panel. Friday's the only one that I open up the panel.
Right, and Crypto is a little more flexible. Sometimes he'll go at 11 in the morning. Sometimes he'll go like he did tonight. You know what I mean?
Always Friday, yeah.
Right.
All right.
And sometimes Crypto will start at 11 and go till now. I mean, you never know.
All right. Well, sure, man. I look forward to the next time. It can whatever.
Yep.
I'll see it next time. I see it. Like every time I see it, I'm like, okay, let me see what these dudes are doing.
Yeah, just make sure you re-click your YouTube notification bell because it'll malfunction after a while.
That'll help with yours.
That thing is acting stupid all the time, bro.
It does. And they're also they're also shadow banning us too, so you may not get the notification even if you hit the bell.
Is that why I don't see some shit from other people? I'm trying to see some shit from other people. I'm like, what the fuck? Where is it? like I'm trying to I don't know if y'all pay attention. I don't want to mention other. I don't know if you're okay with that. Can I mention somebody else's like their feed?
I mean,
Barry Cunningham. You guys watch Barry Cunningham?
We don't watch him, but we're aware of him. I mean, I don't know.
That dude's legit.
We definitely know
that dude's legit.
Oh yeah, he's got all kinds of haters coming after him.
Right.
But he's legit. That's one of the other ones I like to watch. I don't want to plug, so I just kind of keep it like that. But I love Stephen D.
That's cool.
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're all chill with
family.
Stephen D. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stephen D.
So I knew that much.
Capitan and I have quite frequently taken over Stephen D's table at the tailgate on Sundays.
I've seen y'all.
Stephen D is
Ali and
the
I,
evangelist of the community.
yeah, Ali and I
I've
too.
seen you guys over there. That's how I knew who the hell you guys were, because I listened to you.
Daniel, you can also, once we start getting back on track more consistently in the morning, you can also find Ali and myself doing top of the tailgate fresh at 6 in the morning, 6 to 8 in the morning.
Is it TOTG?
Yeah, it's on TFTG. The show's called Top of the Tailgate. We just,
that pops in my phone every day.
Yeah, we just start narratives. We get up earlier
I thought it was just the Finn's tailgate. Yeah.
Him and I just get up earlier than everybody else so we can start the narratives for the day.
I had like 4 of them waiting for me to watch already. I'm like, shit.
Ali and I have at least 5 narratives started under our belt. You know what I mean? So yeah.
All right, cool beans. All right, cool, bro. All right, so solid. This is my second time up on this platform with y'all. So I think so. You guys are calling me. I was here last week, yeah.
And you can find a lot of us, Crypto, myself, Shake. We always chill in all the chats of the other shows too. You know what I mean? Like T.
Yeah, that's why I recognized all the names. I knew right away who the hell you all were, and I was like, okay, these dudes are good. They know. I like what you guys always type or say.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys and gals in our audience right now, float to all those shows too. So you'll see people you recognize. And
all right, cool. Right on.
We like to believe it's family, but
well.
But yeah, you're always welcome across all the TFTG spaces.
Hey, by the way, there's a channel I do. It's called another channel I'm on. It's called Larry K.
What is it?
Well, it's called Larry K. Fanatic Fury Fam with Larry K.
Fanatic.
Just type in Larry K and you'll see the Fanatic Fury Fam.
Yeah. All right. What is it? Wait, I'll type it in now. Hold on.
Larry K.
Hold on. All right. Larry K. Like LARRY.
Yeah, yep, and then capital K.
Larry K, capital K?
Yeah. I'll put his link in the private chat. Give me a second.
Yeah, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, message me on that one, would you? That'd be cool. Just drop the whole link. Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, you could drop that. You could drop that in the chat too, Shake. If
you'd like
the full plug.
Then you can always go back to it. Yeah. Because even when you play back the chat, you can still get the
Larry K is good. Larry K is good people, and I'd plug his show whether he ever gave me a dime for it or not. So,
no, that's legit though, because that's what I'm talking about. There we go. Because
Larry K is real people.
So that's the second time I was live with y'all, and appreciate you allowing me to go. So, and we have a lot to talk about, and I think we covered some really good topics, and I really think that Lou is losing his mind, and Thomas said that.
Hey, that's why. Hey, listen, how do you think he got the title Rabbit Dolphin?
Yep, and the cooking folk apron.
I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't know he had a title.
So Daniel, if you look at his logo, it's got a little dolphin, and he's holding a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. And then we got an apron on our store on our website. It says Cooking Folk on it, and it has the same logo, and instead of a baseball bat, he's holding a spatula. It's on an apron. And it says
you should just put his freaking face on it. You should just put his whole face on that shit with holding a spatula. That would have been even funnier.
Yeah, most of our stuff over on the store is kind of inspired by some of the things that have happened around these parts over the last couple of years. So
y'all so silly.
I personally think the Cooking Folk apron has to be the most viral thing we've got. To be honest with you, I think it's such a good idea. Lewis nailed it with the Cooking Folk apron.
Route B21 route for other things. We don't have to be married to one team. Just we don't just. The only team we don't root for is the Jets. Period. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That's the only team I will not root for ever.
Right.
Period. I don't give a shit. I don't care if they're playing the Patriots or the Bills. I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
That
Well,
team
see, like
can go
it
kick
would have.
rocks.
See, like it would have benefited us last night if the Jets would have won. But
I thought the same.
I really didn't give a shit one way or
I
another.
didn't want them to win.
One of those teams was going to win last night. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
our path is clear anyway. Beat everybody in front of us, and it don't matter what the hell they do.
I was hoping for a tie. To be honest, I was hoping just to tie each other.
Right, exactly. It would have ruined both the season.
Yup. All right, I'm not seeing any. Did you already?
I'm coming out. I'm pumping in and out right now. I'm pumping it right.
You want to send a direct, or you just scream in chat?
By the way,
I think we went longer than you guys normally go.
A 0-0 tie, for that matter, would have been sweet.
For real, exactly. I don't want any points scored. All I wanted is two.
We could have.
And I'm sorry. I know.
Hold on.
We should never root for injuries.
Look, they both got top 10 defenses. We could give them 2-2 tie. How about that? We'll give them each a safety. We know their defenses are good. All right, we're being objective here. 2-2 tie. That's what it should have been last night.
These two. Why is it blue? These two teams are on another level.
Oh, it's blue because we're highlighting it in the stream, so it's popping up on the screen for everybody to see.
Okay. Well, who the hell are we talking about?
I don't know. Who knows who G's talking about? What's it say?
Shake on the other phone.
The two teams playing tonight. Well, it's not. I don't think it's a small, and I don't think it's a small coincidence. They're two of our three losses. You know, big.
That's what I said.
You know,
that's what I said. I said the same thing.
The only one I'm still reeling over is Buffalo, and that's because we didn't show up, and I know we didn't show up.
The craziest part is Buffalo is the one who smoked us. And both Philly and KC we held. We could have came out with dubs in both of those games. But clearly
it's in the private chat now. It's in the private chat.
If we hit that first down that Mostert fumbled the ball on, that entire Buffalo game's chemistry is different.
Where's my
I just know it. I just know it. If we
Shake Money, that's you, right?
Third and one, bro.
In the private chat.
If we don't fumble on that third and one, that game is entirely different than the way it turned out, man.
All right, I screenshot it, and that's for what information am I getting off that link?
I'm doing a show tomorrow, at 7:00. We open up the panel.
PM, yeah, Eastern.
Yeah, 7:00.
Yeah, PM.
All right.
You from with Larry K?
You should post that, and like he said, post that in the regular chat too. Just say it's private show tomorrow. Or, well, if it's private, then No.
I put it in the comment chat too.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
That's what I was looking for.
Tomorrow's open. Jake, you said tomorrow's open panel. Yeah.
Is it open? It's open mic.
Yeah. So what'll happen is like Shake will usually give a little dialogue or something, talk about some stuff, and then. Right.
Okay, that's right. Now.
That's right. That's over on Larry K's channel. I'm sorry, Shake. Yeah.
So, topic. What are you private chatting about? Or we just gotta wait till it's suspensefully.
Yeah, that's gonna be up to Larry K, right?
But we just talk about the win. We're just gonna be talking about the Dolphin win.
Right.
Dolphin channel.
Yeah.
Last day of post game reaction, and then on to the Jets.
So what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? What's everybody doing?
I'm going to Flanagan's, man. They're the only place open on Thanksgiving this year, it seems like.
Not a bad choice, though.
I just called them up to make sure they're open, man. I'm like, yeah, all right. She's like, yeah, we got.
I'm going to be buying some.
She's like, yeah, we got a full menu. She's like, we got a full menu, and we're serving a turkey dinner. I'm like, all right.
Wait. Which Flanagan's and where are you going?
I'll be going to the one off State Road 7 in Wellington.
Oh, you're up there. Okay. And next?
What's that?
Somebody said Burns, Nikki Burns. I don't know. Who was that?
I don't know.
It takes me a while to get back to my.
Maybe crypto, because crypto might be talking about some
Crypto, what'd you
Baltimore
say?
restaurant that's open on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they got some from.
We were gonna do Japanese
They got
food,
some.
because they're usually always open, but Flanagan's is open. I'm going for a turkey dinner.
Crypto, what'd you say?
Oh, they just ripped AJ Brown off. That was a fumble.
Crypto is totally into the game.
Where are you going, Crypto? Where are you going for Thanksgiving?
No, I'm not. I'm gonna be cooking.
You cooking your own turkey?
No, we're going a
big old butterball.
Friends and family gathering. This cooking.
Okay. Next.
I might go out, but I don't think so. I haven't been out on the holiday.
What you doing, Shake? Your girl got any plans to cook for you, or what?
No. We're going to some buffet, country club buffet in Sarasota.
Right.
We're going.
He's got a country club pass.
Wow.
They got prime rib. They make prime rib. Or you can eat prime rib.
There's no Seminole invited, huh? Wow. That's not very
spirited. So you got the country club.
Thanksgiving, man.
Huh?
Oh, bro. You driving your Ferrari up there too?
Ferrari? Yeah, the one I got my my 5-year-old niece, that little one with the battery.
Right, the die-cast model. Yeah.
the little
Barbie mobile. Yeah.
So you remote control that bitch up there, all the way up there, huh?
Right, it's a drone. Oh, by the way, I was wondering, are the Tonka trucks drones now? Are they fully remote now, or what? Like, can you drive your kid around? Can you drive your kid around?
Now we're getting. Oh God!
Hey, send Johnny to the store. Program the Tonka truck to take Johnny to the store, man. We need some stuff.
Yeah.
Put a radio flyer,
right.
Tie that bitch to the back of it and load it up. He's driving back with a fucking full radio flyer full of fucking mostly beer, but he's got some food in there. There's some food. All right.
Wow.
All right, guys. The main thing is I don't want to wash any dishes, so you know what I mean.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, that.
Use that Chinette, not the China, the Chinette.
The Flanagan's people can do that.
There you go. That's fair enough. All right, fellas. Thanks for having me once again. Have a good evening.
All right,
you too, man.
Be easy.
Yep.
All right, so when you want
welcome everybody.
When you want to wrap this up,
thanks everybody. Right now, thanks everybody for coming to the show and joining me on this Monday edition, and with the topic being it feels like deja vu, but let's not make it officially deja vu, even though we feel that way after 10 ball games this year. Let's just change the outcome of the next 7 games and we'll be fine. Because the first 10 was exactly like last year's first 10. So that's all I have to say. You guys appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. And fins up, everybody. Unless Color and you Shake, you had some final thought.
No. We good, brother. Appreciate you as always.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate that. Oh.